Am I here? Am I? I might be. Although, I just realised something. Oh my gosh, I am just so crazy today. So crazy. I'm a crazy, lazy person. But how lazy? I mean, okay, I'm lazy. I was meant to do so much work today, but I've got nothing done. I wanted to get painting done before the stream. I wanted to get models built last night, but none of it happened. It's. There we go. Hi, there we go. No, come on, connect. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't want my face. There you go, Caleb. Come on. Why is the bridge not working? Okay, we'll try again. Hi. Okay, no, free bridge does not want to work. We'll reload it. There we go. Are we alive? I should be alive. Okay, come on. It's going. Oh my gosh, so many emails. YouTube, phone, Fegen, PayPal, Royal Mail, Just Eat. Oh my goodness. So many notifications coming through all at once. There we go. It worked. Yeah. And I'm flying because I'm an idiot. I forgot, you know. I've had a very hectic time. Yesterday I made a lyric video. Oh, last night and then this today I realised that there were a bunch of issues and errors in it, so I had to fix them. Yeah, this is why a dyslexic person should not be making, you know, lyric videos. Because, you know, it doesn't go well. It just has loads of spelling errors and typos and everything else. And this is was one of the reasons why originally I wanted to give it to someone else to do, but I decided to just do it myself because, you know, that sounds fun. Hi, Anthony. Hi, Denizen of Misery. How you doing? How you both doing? You better be doing well. Pop out chat. Painting in this economy? Yeah. It would be very funny. What would be very funny? Get the dyslexic to make... No, it's not even funny mistakes. It's just accidentally putting extra letters and stuff. Or, you know, forgetting to add the E to the letter. It just looks lazy and messy. But I did it. I fixed it. I think. I hope. Oh, gosh. And, oh, guess what? There's a teaser video gonna be going up. A teaser video going up tonight. What's the teaser for? Well, next Saturday, I'm finally doing my Feed 2 debut. You know, my model actually originally got finished almost a year and a half ago for Feed 2. I mean, since then, there's been various issues and stuff, but since then, I realised I had a massive issue with it that needed fixing, except I had to wait a few months for the rigger to fix it. So they could only get to it like December, and then they only finished in like November. Then they only finished in like January. By that point, I was waiting for a cover song. Basically, various things caused it to get delayed. Like, was various delays. One is just the original delay was I was originally going to do my version 1.5. So, do you know this debut? Well, not this model, but the other boss lady model. Good googly moogly, a design change. What the heckers? Yeah. I not for nothing one funny. Yeah, so that came out originally. Oh yeah, so I ended up having like, because of Windows things, I had like massive issues where I couldn't really stream properly. Oh, ages. Like I couldn't get models working properly while streaming. Turned out just to be a Windows issue. All I had to do was click one little switch, but It was not obvious, and I was going for a month, so that delayed like my version 1.5 debut quite a bit, to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to now delay my main debut of version 2, just so that we can spend some time with 1.5 beforehand. Then I had like my health issues and stuff, and then I was like, you know what, I'm in a position where I kind of feel like it's been so long now. I'm gonna have to... Oh yeah, then I had like various computer issues at one point. Yeah, and I didn't want those computer issues affecting for version 2. But then I was getting to a point where it's like, it's been too long. I need to do more. I need to do more. That's where the Chibis came out. So I'm like, okay, once the Chibis are done, we could debut that. But then I thought, okay, but I've got my boss lady. Let's do the boss Chibi debut first. And then we could debut the other two at the same time. I was like, oh no. But I'm like, oh no, now I need to do more. So then I was like, oh, that was it. I was actually preparing for the debut when I ended up starting getting, you know, for background music I use. I started getting hit by copyright things for it. And I was like, oh, well, this is free to use and I've done all the proper stuff. And then I was like trying to contact the guy, and he's like, he the guy who makes the original music, and now he's all like, he's gone full AI and stuff. I'm like, oh, now I don't want to use this music anymore. So I commissioned a bunch more music that took really, really long time to complete. Oh yeah, that's about the same time I was testing out the model, and I tested it out like the background of some streams. And found out that it, like in win mode especially, it lagged massively out because of how massive the model is. So I had to ask for Rigger to do some changes to prevent the lag. And that's when I had to wait for November for her. And at that point, I'm like, I wanted to make a new cover song. And in fact, one of the things of why the cover song was delayed was because of, you know, I had hay fever and then I had a cold. And my throat just wasn't getting better. It turned out it wasn't a cold, I just had some other sinus issues. Yeah, so. But then eventually just got to the point where, okay, I'm just going to sing the song anyway. Bad throat or not. Inability to sing or not. I mean, I was inspired by like other people doing music and stuff. Like, you know, completely improvised. It's just like they sing it one day and they have a lyric video out for next day. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to speak to a music guy, just throw a bunch of lyrics at him. But then I had an issue where I don't like singing like when my family are around. And you have to sing pretty loudly for like the microphone to fully pick it all up. So then it was just trying to find the time where I could sing and find out which song I wanted to do. Oh, and then I was testing different songs. And then what else happened? No, that's basically it. The song's finished. But basically, it was just like, for various things delay it. Because it's delayed, I feel like I need to do more. Because I just already had enough idea.
Eclairs. They are pretty neat French pastry.
Yeah.
Puff word of the day. Tummy hurt. My tummy is still not doing well. Frown. How do I cancel my subscription to Nurgle?
Oh, yeah, my tummy hurt too. Yeah, do that, and like I say, I'm ill all the time. In fact, my tummy hurts. Try to avoid fibrous foods often. I mean, it depends, but often if you got fibrous foods, they're likely to make you feel worse. So yeah. That's a good thing you don't. I'm dying, help me. Yeah, tummy issues are not fun. They're not fun. Oh, although some people, like fibrous food can help. I don't know. Oh, tummy hurt. Tummy hurt. Eclairs of pretty neat French pastry. Yeah. But yeah, so there's a bunch of things. Oh yeah, and it's like some other things should have like been finished. Like with the original Chibi stuff, what I originally wanted to do was debut my main model, and then like once the Chibis are finished, I would debut the Chibis afterwards. But various things happened, and you know, delays. Delays upon delays. But loads of stuff's come together. It's like, oh, so much that's happening though. There's going to be 5 new models, or technically 3 models and like 5 outfits. 5 outfits spread across 3 models. A bunch of background music. I mean, all of these things, they take time, and really they should have been things I commissioned all at once. But I mean, well, partly they're very expensive to commission, so so that's one of the reasons I had to spread them out across the space of a year. But yeah, things just take a while. Like getting the music made especially was a big thing. Oh yeah, that's it. I wanted to upgrade my PC. Yeah, because, you know, the Space Marine 2 and stuff. And the upgrade took a while to get done. Because, like, one of the things is like, one, finally deciding to buy the upgrade and put the investment into it. And then actually finally installing the upgrade. I had to wait for, like, my friend who builds computers himself to, like, have a free moment to come around and help me. Yeah, I am Space Marines 2. Yeah, Space Marine 2. That was a game that, like, just was like... That one was the one that cinched my need to upgrade my PC. The first time I actually ever got a gaming PC was basically when I realised I couldn't play Fallout. There was another reason to, and that's because when I was doing physics, it's like I had 3 major issues. One, I had to do programming, and my computer just took the absolute effort to do any of the programming. And the university PCs were not very fast either. So it's like whenever I just like had an error and I put a lot of errors into my programming, it would take about half an hour for it to, you know, load back in. And it's like I could just close the program, although sometimes that would take a while, so you then you'd have to restart the PC, but then it just completely resets your code. It's like, ah! And being a dyslexic, I type loads of errors into my code by accident. So like, that's one of the reasons. Another one was so I could do simulation stuff. And the third, and the one that really cinched it, was Fallout 4. I couldn't play Fallout 4. Had to upgrade. I've had my second PC upgrade. I think I just upgraded anyway. I don't think I really felt like I needed to upgrade. I just upgraded because I could. Yeah. But yeah, so there's been various things that have caused various delays. A lot of it's just my own silliness. And then also just not wanting to, you know, do a debut when I'm feeling really ill. Good luck with that. Oh, when I search up Space Marines, I always spell it Source Marines. Yeah, I make silly mistakes like that all the time. I don't know if that's... During my days of being homesick, I managed to watch all of Demon Slayer. I made like 2 videos. That's productive, especially making 2 videos. I've been actually quite productive. I've not been as productive as I'd like, but mainly because I spent like way too much time in bed. Well, past few days I've been really, really productive. I've built a whole load of models. I made that video, didn't I? I wrote the script, I recorded the video, and then I edited the video over... I was wanted to get it done on Thursday and potentially uploaded on Thursday, but that Windows again decided, you know, that wasn't going to happen. Trying to make the video, my computer died. Like, restarted for a Windows update, so I just lost all my progress. Like, like these sorts of things, you know, they save, don't they? Like a lot of the, like my video software, it saves. But when it was a forced restart like that, it just completely corrupts the data. I'm like, no. Oh, it should have saved, but because it was a forced restart. Like, I've had my computer, you know, crash through these things and it didn't corrupt a file, but forced restarts for some reason, like, are the worst at just corrupting files. Oh. Like, I really managed to do smooth motion in CapCut. Nice! I've been struggling to get smooth motion in my video that I've been editing. but it's fine. On my days of being homesick. Oh. Yeah, what else did I do? On Thursday, oh yeah, on Thursday, I like cleaned my entire room. I dusted. I got like so much stuff done. Like I just had so much piled up things like cardboard, and I got it all meshed up. And also like, because that's when I made my thumbnails and I got a bunch of other work done. Then Friday after the stream, that's when I finished editing the video. Or was it Friday when I suddenly had like, I can't remember, one of the days, like, I completely lost all my progress. But Friday, you know, like, Friday was yesterday. Yeah, okay, that was when my computer restarted. It was Thursday when my computer restarted. Oh, but because my computer restarted, yeah. It wasn't the video editing software, it was my recordings. It completely just botched my recordings. So then I had to rewrite my script and stuff. But what I ended up then having to do is I re-recorded it. I was really happy, like I did it in one really good take. And then I went to play the video back and there was no audio because after the computer restarted, it completely just like reset my default microphone to nothing. And then I had to reset my microphone and do it again, but by that point my throat hurt. But then I finished editing it on Friday. I also made a lyric video last night and talked to a music person quite a lot last night, yeah. And what else happened? We got teaser stuff done. You know, we've been productive. Let's go over here. I think this morning I was semi-productive. I wanted to get the new Horrors Rising book because, you know, it's the first one in the Horrors Heresy series. And, well, it's not new. But, do you know, for new limited edition version? And I tried. I got it in the basket. And I got to the checkout, but the checkout just wouldn't load. And eventually I just gave up. Oh. Wee, hi. Oh, what's this? That's a bit bright. Get out there. Bye,
Time to flay a cupcake.
No, Blair Boys. Hi, Mercury. You've been listening to Let Me Be Your Lover, Abra Alas, and the Shaft Theme and Mindbender. Oh. Yeah, no heresy for any of you. Actually, no. Did someone mention heresy? Woman to woman. The Inquisition is here. But yeah, look at this guy. If you're thinking, this is a weird looking librarian, he looks a bit... Is he a bit small? Well, no, he can't be small at all, because this is him stood next to a Tau. Like, put the Tau on for tactical... Oh, the Tau's taller. The Tau's a bit taller. It's like, what is this about a space marine being shorter than a Tau? Yeah, this is old Space Marines. I found him really cheaply. Yeah, but I've been able to find... And it was brand new. It was brand new in the packaging. And it still had the old sticker on it. 18 quid this guy cost. That was like 6 quid cheaper than a current Space Marine. But at least you get like way more Space Marine for your Space Marine. Oh, and he also wants you... They also have him for packaging him facing forward towards the camera. Like this direction rather than like this. But I think it looks way cooler like this. Oh, so yeah, this is on my little ultramarine army. I have a heresy sometimes. I treat myself. Yeah, this is on my... I'm making a 1000 point. Just very small. Firstborn ultramarine army because of that Battle of McCrags that inspired me. Let's turn this little light off. This is Finecast. My gosh, these Finecast models have been hellish to like cut because they're on like a little resin sprue, but there's so much flash on them. Like I had this entire, you know, like your sprue connection on the axe. But if you wonder why it's slightly jagged here, it was connected from this point of the axe all the way down here to this point. And it was not a thin connection. It was really thick. I had to really, really carefully just cut it off. And then it also went along the edge, so I had to trim it very carefully with a crafting knife. They're also going like massive areas, like massive mold line all along the fingers and up here. All over the back. You can still see bits of it where it's just joining these folds. And yeah, for loads of flash like that. This guy wasn't too bad. And there's also a bunch under here. And guess what? He was meant to be on a 25mm base. Yeah, this is called a Master of a Fleet, but he's going to be a Lieutenant with Storm Shield and Mastercrafted Power Weapon. Oh, look how cool this fellow is. Yeah. I need to get this guy on a 40mm base, but I'm kind of out of 40mm bases. Oh yeah, don't see how big he is. Next to the space means that we're going to be finishing painting today. You know, firstborn space means are meant to be a head shorter. A head shorter. Or half a head shorter than Primaris. It doesn't feel quite like that. I mean, honestly, they're almost just as wide as a Primaris Marine. Looking into and loving what I see with a Bastion Task Force detachment. Oh, what's a Bastion Task Force detachment? Let me look at that. New recruit. New recruit. It's a new recruit. Okay. Heavy battle line. I need to look more at these new detachments. Bastion Task Force. Oh yeah, that's the one I use for my defensive army. Yeah. Oh, I know that one. That one is fun. It's really good for especially if you use Graphis, like heavy Graphis intercessors. But here's my defense force. Oh yeah, guys, have you seen the new video I put up? Here we go. Defense force. Oh, I forgot to add the second tech priest into here. Tech marine. Yeah. Well, yeah, this one uses a Bastion Task Force. This is really good because, like this guy over here has Blades of Valor, which it's this one. Oh, what Blades of Valor is an enhancement. Improve the armor penetration characteristics of melee weapons equipped by the bearer and battle line models in the bearer's unit by 1. Yeah, so all of these weapons just become -2 Adeptus chainswords with sustained hits, -3 Mastercrafted Power Weapon, -3 Mastercrafted Power Weapon of a Crusader Squad, -2 for the Crozius, and then -3 for the Power Fists. That's really, really powerful, like on just a squad of Crusaders. Especially since they come down in drop pods. You'd think that an army that uses 2 drop pods would be good for the Orbital Assault Force, but no, it's because they got so many battle line. There's 2 Intercessor squads, some heavy Intercessor squads. The names are just so I know which units I was going to be building from the box sets. 2 Crusader squads, and then just some Assault Intercessors. It's on top of that, it had 2 Ballistas Dreadnoughts, but you know, Games Workshop sold me on the new Battle Force that's coming out, so it's now got a 3rd Ballistas Dreadnought instead of having a Predator. And it's also got a Redemptor Dreadnought instead of having a 2nd Predator. It's also got a Repulsor Executioner. So yeah, this is a defense, that's why it's got the Fire Strike turrets. No infantry. Oh no, for company heroes, just for the commander to be in. And they go into the Repulsor Executioner. Yeah, really fun. What's the other one? It's one of the lieutenants. Yeah, it's this one. he has an enhancement called Eye of a Primarch. So apparently he's got the Eye of a Primarch. I never knew Dawn was watching them. I thought drop pods were low transport count. No, they are... No, drop pods are, I think, of 12. Oh yeah, it's got 3 drop pods in here. Yeah, they are 12. Yeah, 12 Adepties are starties. They can't... The main issue is they can't do jump packs, Wolfen, Graphis, Centurion, or Terminators. So, the only thing that they originally drop pods could drop Terminators, and in fact you saw them quite often do that in a lot of the official stuff. But now they're only basic infantry. Only your Tacticus and your Firstborn models can basically go inside them. But they're pretty good. They're pretty good. I mean, they're better be able to move 10 now if we don't have any weapons on them. Yeah. So the entire point of what this army does, like what my lore thing for this army is that the idea is that these 3 squads are like trying to defend a point or an area with the captain and all of the dreadnoughts and servo turrets and stuff, basically really just trying to fortify this area while the enemy is attacking. And the drop pods are their reinforcements coming to take the enemy out, you know, in aid of them. So, it's got 2 Judicious and the Execrator who lead the units here. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Oh yeah, Eye of a Primarch. Can't remember what that does. It oh yeah, it gives you position on a battle line army. On a battle line unit. It's like, what? Yeah, just put him in the middle of you know, some heavy intercessors or something. Yeah, do that on heavy intercessors. It's like, yeah, do all these rifles here. Yeah, a heavy bolter. Precision heavy bolter. But no, he instead leads an intercessor squad. So, precision grenade launcher, precision plasma pistol, precision bolt rifles, and the mastercrafted bolter with its damage too. Oh, I just find that hilarious. Hi, GT man. I found your stream as I'm assembling Flamer Star Scythe battlesuits of my Commander Foresight. Ooh, I've heard they're pretty good. I'm building the, we built the, what's it called, the fusion gun. Except there's only 4 fusion guns in the blooming box. Well, considering they can only be armed with fusion guns, that squad, I've just got like 2 of them with shield and fusion gun and like missiles. I'll just say the missiles and the shoulders are just fusion missiles. Oh, but yeah. I like that. I think it's a pretty fun thing. For other enhancements you can get is you got things like Hero of a Chapter. So any unit he joins becomes battle line, which is important because, you know, all of the abilities affect battle line. And then you've got the Bombast, which is each time you select a bearish unit with for a target of stratagem, roll a d6, adding 1 if a bearish unit has a battle line keyword. On a 4+, you gain 1 command point. Pretty good. I don't have either of those things in here. I mean, I could do, I guess. But then I got 35 points to spend. I don't know what to do. But what does Bastion Task Force actually do? So, battle line units from your army are eligible to shoot and declare a charge in return for advanced or fell back. Really, really useful. And they're eligible to perform an action in return for advanced or fell back. Which is a bit less useful for Black Templars because we can do that anyway. On all of our infantry. Hi, Nanofate, how are you doing? Each time an Adeptus start to use battle line unit from your army selected for an attack. After resolving foe's attack, select one enemy hit by one or more foe's attacks. Until the end of a turn, that enemy is Auspex scanned. I like for R-spec scanning. Each time an adept is to start to use model from your army makes an attack that targets an Ascarby R-spec scanned unit, reroll a hit roll of 1. It's basically their version of a great to good. But that's actually quite useful, especially on like with heavy weapons and stuff, like for heavy bolt rifles. You're hitting on 2s anyway, if you stay still, so you're rerolling to hit. Less useful for the likes of a ballista strad, but still, I mean, half of your misses pretty much you're rerolling to hit. Well, that's really useful for Black Templars, especially when you're making a more shooty focused army like this, because we don't have Oath of Moment. But your stratagems are Heresy Undone. 1 Adeptus Astartes unit, excluding battle line unit. And basically just gives it the ability to do what the battle lines can do. Codex Discipline. Reroll a hit roll of 1, and if that target is aspect scanned, reroll a wound roll of 1. Well, it gives you half your foul. Yeah. Bastion just gives you one of your fouls, so you don't need to take it. Yeah, I personally like taking the foul that gives you, +1 to wound in melee. Well, assuming your strength's equal to or less than the opponent's toughness. You run it on my Tau Marines. Ooh. Tau Marines. Oh, stealth suits. I like how Tau stealth suits are basically just Tau Marines at this point. Toughness 4, 2 wounds, 3+ armor save, strength 4. And they're about the same size as Space Marines and from the same base. They're basically just Phobos Marines that have bigger guns and are worse in melee. They still do get 2 attacks in melee, so they're not actually that bad. Select lethal hits are sustained hits. Weapons equipped by models in your unit that have the ability to target or spec you scanned unit, or if the bearer has battle line. Oh yeah, so if you got battle line or your target and R-spec scanned, you either gain lethal hits or sustained hits. Pretty cool. Guided disruption for battle line units. When an enemy unit is R-spec scanned as a result of these attacks, if that enemy unit does not have monster or vehicle, it is pinned, so subtract 2 from charge rolls and moves. Shock bombardment. When an enemy is R-spec scanned, basically it gets -1 to hit. And Angel's Defiant. Until the end phase, each time an attack targets your unit, if the strength characteristic of that target is greater than the toughness characteristic, subtract 1 for the wound roll, which is really useful. It's a very, very good for like a very defensive force. It is basically like the perfect Imperial Fist style gameplay. Because one of the issues at the moment with like, you want to play before Bastion's Task Force, if you wanted to play like Imperial Fists, your main going was Anvil Siege Force, or there's like one specific, I think it might just be Anvil Siege Force. Is it? I think it might be. Yeah, here you go. Ranged weapons that have heavy ability. If such a weapon ability has this ability, each time an attack is made with a weapon, if the attacking models remain stationary, add 1 to the wound roll. Which sounds pretty cool. Add 1 to wound as long as you don't move. But most of like the stratagems and stuff, and most of like your abilities, revolve around the remain stationary rule. Like a lot of like your basic bolt rifle, heavy bolt rifle and stuff have a heavy keyword in them. It's just the fact that you don't want to be standing still, especially as Space Marines, because you don't have that many units. So you want to be constantly moving to like constantly be challenging objectives and pushing against the enemy. If you're staying still, you're just going to be outmaneuvered all the time. So it became kind of useless. Bastion task force though is like much more defensive, but it gives you that extra mobility. You can advance and charge. You can fall back and charge. You can perform actions while advancing or falling back. You've got the aspect scanned, and then you got stuff that like gives you like the -1 to get wounded stratagem. And all of that's really, really cool and like benefits like a defensive play style, but still like promotes your idea that you want to be moving and you want to be doing stuff quickly. The other really cool one was the Orbital Task Force that gives you deep strike to a bunch of units. The main reason this is super cool is just because you can now deep strike Centurions. So, you know, your knockoff Terminators can truly be knockoff Terminators. They can teleport into the enemy. Oh, I love that. How are we doing? Hi, Talan. Hi, Malmal. Eggs in one basket, but 6-man Blade Guard with Lieutenant and Captain with Relic Shields. With Hero of the Chapter and Blade something. Gets you -3 AP, Advance and Charge with 4+ Invulnerables. Yeah, that's cool. I have a similar character build in one of my... in my Siege Force. It's got 6 Blade Guard, a Lieutenant and a Captain all in one squad. And they are talk about eggs in one basket. 3,000 point unit. Not unit. I mean, almost a 3,000 point unit. 3,000 point army. Land Raider Crusader. Inside it is not just 6 Blade Guard, not just their captain, and not just the lieutenant, but 5 sword brethren and an executor. And a marshal, giving you a total of 15 models out of the 16 it can hold. I think that one squad has about 1,000 points in it. Like, if you include the Land Raider, about 210 points of the Land Raider Crusade or something like that. Don't yeet me. Both detachments came in 500 years. Yeah, for 500 woes, detachments are really fun. I don't think they're overpowered. I mean, maybe Bastion Siege Forge could be toned a little bit better. But they are really fun. Yeah, did Cupcake just say telepipe? Teleport, I meant, sorry, teleport. As in Fantasy Star. You gotta go, bye-bye, Mercury. It's nice of you to pop in. Big love hearts. Okay, let me get some stuffs. I want to show you the Ultramini stuff I've got. So here we go. Here we go. I want to just show you these models. I got this dude. He's the captain of my new Ultramarines. He's like an anniversary edition model. He's got a little Stormbolter. He's got a Power Fist. Oh, really cool mod. He's still very short though. Compare him to the little Tau here. He's a bit taller than the others. But not by much. And then you've got his Victrix Honor Guard, and I put them on 14. They're meant to originally be on 25mm. They came with on 32mm because, you know, they were reprinted in resin. But yeah, it's Victrix Honor Guard. These guys were hellish to put together though. Oh, you can actually still see a bit of a flash on them. Yeah, not to put together, but to clean up. A football team. Hi, Clyde. Because basically, they have so much, like, just, you know, resin-y strands all over them. Because they're such detailed models, it's hard to tell which parts are just, like, resin flash and issues, and which is just, you know, details that you can cut off or can't. I can see a little bit of it, but it's like all underneath the grenades and stuff I had to cut out, and all underneath here. Thankfully, this type of resin though, it's very, 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 very soft, very, very flexible. Like Finecast, we don't have an age rating on it because, you know, it's safe to use. It's basically like resin-y plastic. It's a lot softer plastic than this plastic. So it's really easy to cut into, but it's then really easy to make a mistake. But thankfully it also means it can take a shock and absorb a shock really well, so it stays together quite well, like especially to dropping it. Compared to like metal models where it will just snap at the glue joints. The issue is that the thinner parts, like, you know, for axe handles and stuff, they are a bit flimsy. GPG. And then you have this guy. I think these are really cool models. They're really nice, really detailed. But it took a very long time to cut them out. This was originally, you know. This is what I do with the spare green stuff when I take too much. I just fill in the little holes on these sorts of slot bases. So yeah, they're really cool, these Honor Guard models. But they are very tiny compared to, you know, normal Space Marines. Maybe I should have put them on a 32mm base and then stuck them on this. A bit like I did with, where'd he go? Here he is, this guy. And this guy himself, because he's actually got the 25mm base he came with on top of this. He's got some ammo in front of him. Nice. You're wondering, every single person Cupcake streamers are sorted, so you don't forget them. Card chat a distraction corner first, because Cupcon is sure distracted. You know, I just don't feel like painting today. I'm just showing you models. Do you want to see the Tyrannic War veterans? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Either way, this isn't a really new model, which is why, like, it's not the fact that this is a super new model and why it's like the same height as an old Space Marine. No, this guy's ancient. This guy's on the Devilfish, and the Devilfish is an ancient model. Yeah, this guy is as old as these models here. In fact, he should be slightly taller because his head should be bigger, but I gave him one of the newer heads, which was smaller and more appropriately scaled. Yeah, these guys, the facial expressions back then, though, for these types of models were absolutely crazy. Like, they just went all in and just trying to make them really angry. Nah, I won't focus on him. If you want to see the pictures, they are on the Discord. Better pictures of them. I like these guys. Oh, what is he? My favourite one. Where is he? Here he's got a little robo leg. We don't see bionic legs in Space Marines very much anymore. We see plenty of bionic arms, but bionic legs. We need to see more bionic legs. Yeah, these are Tyrannic War veterans. I'm using him as Stern Guard of the unit. And this is, he's a Victrix Honor Guard guy, but because his head's different, and you can only have 3 of them in a unit, 3 or 6, and they come in boxes of 4, I'm using this guy as a lieutenant. Does he fit? He looks like a lieutenant, to be honest. So, I thought he could be one. Yeah, basic auto armor have been unchanged since inception, yep. This guy is actually quite a good model, especially for his age, like all the detail. But when you compare him to the new Tau Fire Warriors and Pathfinders, you can tell his age. He's a commander from the vehicle. I'm going to convert him into a Chashnell of the new Crucible, so he can join my Pathfinders. I'm thinking about giving him a little cloak and stuff. But yeah. They're really cool models. I thought it would be really fun just to build a nostalgia army. Building them is really boring. Honestly, the old models are far more boring than modern models in terms of making them. Like, not only... One of them is just there's not many bits to them. Like this guy, he was originally a metal model. You can actually see way more of the detail on these models than the metal one. And they retain paint much nicer than metal. But there's only 2 parts to him. This part and his backpack. This guy, all of these Tyrannic War veterans came in 2 parts, the backpack and the main body. These guys came in, his head was part, oh wait, that's a little bit just under his neck there, that's not meant to be there. This is what you have to do, you have to then get your knife and just very carefully cut it into here without breaking anything else. This is why the very hellish to cut out, like, it's way worse than Forge Road Resin for Flash and, you know, just bits of stuff that you need to cut out. And struggling to tell which bit and what's part of the model and what isn't. But equally, it's a lot more soft. The knife goes through it a lot easier. As a Tau player, building models is part of the fun for me because of how posable the battlesuits. The battlesuits are really nice. Honestly, I really like the design of the new stealth suits, but putting them together after the battlesuits was a lot less fun. They're far less posable, and honestly, that joint, that weird bar, just different for the arms is just really weird. It's not fun. Yeah, each of these, like the heads, I think this guy had to glue on his arm, that gun, and that backpack. This guy, both swords and the backpack. This guy was both arms, well, just one arm, one gun, backpack. This guy was just the head and the hand. And this guy was just backpack, head, shield needed to be glued on. So it's kind of really boring building. Even this guy, he is such a monopose model. Like the arms come holding onto the staff. It's like very boring compared to new models. And but where the sprue connects to the model is also just really just infuriating and means that you have to very carefully cut it to, you know, avoid getting rid of all the details. So it's one is gold, one is green, one is grey. I want to pick my Tau Firewires and Stealth teams, except in 3 colours. Oh, that's how I kind of want to do my Eldar that I've been thinking about. I'm just going to put these guys away, then we'll get to painting. Yep. Like 3 different regiments. Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, that's what I want to do for my Eldar, like representing from different craft worlds and stuff. There we go. Grab. There we go. Painting stealth suits gold sounds counterintuitive, but stealth field works. So stealth suits work not because the suits are stealthy themselves, but because they generate the field that is for stealth. I recommend looking up Pariah Nexus if you want to see how stealth suits actually work. Also, I might need to lower the brightness on this a little bit. But here's our marine that we are painting today. So what do I need to do? I wanted to finish him off stream, but I've just had too much going on.
Stealth fields are much like a Bethesda product, it just works.
That is true. So for colour scheme we're going for these guys is this. This is one I did earlier. This is one I painted mostly off stream. This one is the one we painted, like, took forever painting on stream. Oh gosh, you can barely tell anything. I'm gonna have to redo the blooming video capture, aren't I? Configure video. That better? A little bit. Yeah, you can see it's got a cool lightning pattern on his axe. So each of them have this purple shoulder pad to represent the detachment that they're part of. And each one of them has this white to represent the squad that they're part of. So they're part of the second squad. And is it the 5th or 6th detachment? I can't remember. They're part of the mobile detachment. Cool idea. I've actually found a colour scheme in 8th edition codex you like a lot. It's blue and grey. Kashfar, one of the orbital garrisons. Ooh. Honestly, talking about stealth fields being like a Bethesda product, don't forget the Sorry, I'm just moving this around because there's a wire in the way. There we go. Yeah. You got your stealth generators or whatever in Bethesda, don't you? Your little stealth packs in Fallout. That just kind of make you invisible. Hi, Tony. Yeah, I like the idea of using multiple regiments because that's like what I read the Guardsmen did. So originally my guard army had like 3 different regiments in it. You had the armoured regiment, the main infantry, and then like the elite special guys. And for 3 different colours. So what do we need? I need to do some white here. And we can test out our white scarf. Need to do highlights on for blue. Need to add some like stuff into the middle of this. Some known oil. Fix up for black around the eyes a little bit. Yeah. So I went a bit off mark there. Then we can do some highlights on this thing here. Highlights on that red. Highlights on the gun. I think a bit of highlighting here is actually needed because I like the shift that you see in this one, lighter to darker. You don't really get that as much with this one. So probably be a good idea to get something a little lighter on there. Yeah. Where's my magnifying glass? That's something important. Wondering how you see the details on these things? Magnifying glass. It just works. Yeah, these guys. Let me lower myself. I forgot to lower my seat. Oh. Rush. Where's my super glue? Oh, I found out something sad about my brushes. My cool brushes the other day. In which I thought for made of horsehair. Turns out for not made of horsehair, for made of sable fur. Which is not what I wanted. So I'm gonna have to figure out. I've been looking up different things and I learned a bunch of stuff. Like for instance, one of the ways that people don't have their brushes bend is that they actually use synthetic brushes that have like a little bit of gel on them, like hair gel, kind of. And it gives you a really firm tip that's a bit like a pen. But it has
I made
bit
a
more
Tau
flexing.
Fire Warrior that has 2 shoulder planes, 2 antennas, and he is holding his rifle with one hand.
Oh, that's cool. I want to do something similar with my little fire warrior dude here. And maybe give him a cloak, because I want him to be a pathfinder. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try White Star. I'm going to just paint. There's a little bit here where I've not covered it. Poor Uma Musume died for Cupcon's bushes. No, no. Like horsehair, I expected that they just used trimmed horsehair, but they didn't. Instead, they use a breed of weasel. But, you know, but they don't just like shave it to anything. It's, they don't survive the process. It's very sad. And it's endangered. I'm like, what? Okay, I never knew this. I thought sable was like... I never realised that was what it was. So I'm now looking up at doing synthetic versions instead. I've heard the Games Workshop brushes are good for STC range. But... at the moment, STC brushes haven't been... Actually, I have found these ones are pretty good for the shade ones. Where's the small one? We had a small, yeah. The normal Citadel starter brushes are terrible, but I've heard the Citadel's STC ones are a lot better. Which will be great if true. I might try this thing of putting a little bits of hair care product on them. Improve the quality. There you go. Yeah. Not very. Yeah. One of the things about artificial brushes, though, is that they don't get... the paint doesn't come off them as easily as, like, these ones. Where is my little... There we go. Hi, Stagbag, how you doing? I got this. I do got this, hopefully. I should put this guy here, these two guys just here, so people know. People know the colour schemes we're going for. Yeah. Oh yeah, what's the names again? I forgot. Augustine. Saget. Augustine Saget and Jerry Berry. Yeah. Okay, let's do work on the eyes. Yeah, I definitely messed these up when we were doing them. Oh my gosh, we spent an entire hour just talking about stuff. I had a lot to talk about. A lot happened for the past 24 hours. Oh. My tummy is not very good at all, though. Oh. There we go.
Ever since I found out the Crucible lets me build a broadside with 3 heavy rail rifles, I've been collecting the bits to be able to kit
bash one. Oh yeah, that's a fun idea. I think that's... Honestly, I'm not sure how worthwhile it is being 160 points for a single broadside. I mean, technically 3 broadsides in a way. But actually, it's not 160 points. It's 170 points at the very least. But then doesn't it cost you more points to go into the suit as well? Yeah, it's very expensive doing that, points-wise and money-wise. But especially points-wise. But especially money-wise. Well, I've had an issue with all of my broadsides so far. That's been a bit annoying. I don't know if you've ever had this issue, but people on the Discord will know this one. It's, do you know the missile arms? Where you got, do you know they're meant to have, like, you got the main arm which has missiles on the end, and then you stick 2 missiles on either side of it. I've had one. I bought one, and it had this big old lump sticking out of it where it's meant to have a hole that made it impossible to stick the other missile on. It's so thick and in such an awkward position, you can't just get rid of it. Well, not easily. So I complained. They sent me a second one. Exact same issue. 3 broadsides are 240 points, so paying 170 points for one with 3 heavy rifles is a bargain. Yeah, but that's the thing. 3 broadsides are 3 models with 3 sets of wounds that you could potentially just like scatter around the battlefield if you don't put them all in one squad. A single broadside for 170 points that has 3 rifles, while it has the firepower of 3 of them, it's also got only the wounds of 1 of them and just as easy to kill as 1 of them. So effectively, the opponent just has to target 1 to get rid of them all. Which is generally why things like broadsides and the Locust Heavy Destroyer are just so powerful. Because they're cheap, they hit very hard. Sure, they're easy to kill, but you can get multiple of them and just put them in different parts of the battlefield. And as a result, they're very difficult to get rid of. Compared to something that's tougher, but has more firepower. And it's definitely a fun idea, and it's definitely a bit overpowered. I mean, at 170 points, it's more expensive than a Ghost Keel, but much easier to get rid of. It's almost as expensive as a Riptide. But Riptides are kind of not that great at the moment, to be honest. Unless you're going up, you're going up against Marines. Which in all likelihood you will be. You keep your poxwater spread out to be a nuisance, yeah. There are certain units where, you want to really mount up with them. Like, the number of models. Like Arc Boys, Gaunts, stuff like that. But usually that's because, and like cultists. We usually want to do that, not because it gives them more firepower, ability to, wipe stuff out. But because it makes them harder to remove. Because, like, there's more of them. Like, a squad of 20 cultists can not only capture objectives, but they're very difficult just to get rid of because, there's 20 of them. And you put them in cover or give them bits of protection. The other thing is that because there's so many models, you can actually potentially have them punch a bit above the weight because just through sheer number of attacks. In fact, actually, that's most of the times, like, why I often think getting more is better than less. You just want as many things as spread out and as hard to get rid of as possible. Because the harder you are to get rid of, the longer you stay on the battlefield, and the longer you're on the battlefield, the more time you're spending catching maintaining your hold on objectives and, punching the enemy in the face. Which is why Death Guard are always so annoying to go against, because they can not only put down numbers thanks to Poxwalkers, but everything they have, including Poxwalkers, is a nightmare to get rid of. So even if they don't necessarily hit the hardest, which sometimes they do, they become just hellish. And my Arcs being toughness 5 can be a bit annoying, but for the moment I'm actually realising Arcs at toughness 5 aren't as scary as I thought they'd be. I'm realising my Corsair Void Guard can take out a squad of 20 Arcs in a single turn. The normal Corsair can't. They can easily get rid of 10 Arcs in a single turn, but they can't get rid of 20 Arcs. In theory they can, but usually they won't. You got a Brutalis? I got 2 Brutalises. Do you want to see my Brutalises? I have that guy over there. Jumbo what can deep strike Poxies in reserves, which can get for free. So we can just jump on and assuming objectives across the board. Ooh, that's dangerous. Here's one of my Brutalises. Yeah, I gave it some 3D printed Templar armor. It's got a big old sword. Big old sword. And in the other hand, it's got another sword. A bone sword it stole from a Hive Tyrant. Yeah, ripped it straight off. Running along. Hi, how are you doing? Nurgle Marines are so tough. They are so tough. Thankfully, they're usually kind of slow, but they have a bunch of ways to get that extra mobility. What we're doing with him? Want to get some Wraithbone, I think, on him. stole. He just stole a bone sword from, you know, a Tyrannid. And the arm attached to the stone sword, the bone sword. Hi, Big McDonald. Hi, McDonald. Like the plane. Mick. Cow. So we want to get our Wraith Bone on this, guys. I like Templar. One of the reasons I like Templar is because one of the things is like you'll notice about Marines. If you don't get like the really special Marine, like the Victrix Honor Guard, which were hellishly expensive. And the Resin or Metal, which is not fun. It's like the really, really, really boring, like the old Firstborn Marines. Like the Tactical Squad. Really, really boring models. That were not even fun to pose. These guys, though, the original Crusader squads, had much better, much more dynamic poses available to them, but they just had a lot more going on. They had more details, they had the little tabards. Nowadays, I think Primaris Space Marines are a lot cooler, a lot more dynamic, poseable. It's like old One Eye attached to the Carnifexes. Yeah! No, that's less of a distraction and more of we're going to obliterate anything that you throw at us. And anything that gets in our way. Lovely. I'm an Adeptus Mechanicus. I got some Mechanicus. The only things we've built of our Mechanicus is that one 3D printed model. I had the giant hat and the 10... Oh, what they called? The new servitor guys. Really love them. I just wish that you could have better squads of servitors. Mass servitor infantry. Still have a couple of models in Black Primer right now. Ooh. Oh, what for Battle Clade? The Servitor Battle Clade. Yeah, I've got one of them, which includes the other Techno Archaeologist. I do have others that I want to build at some point. I originally wanted to build them while we were playing the Mechanicus game, but never got around to it. Doing that stream. So I think when we play Mechanicus 2, that's when I'm going to do like a few streams where we build some I'm also waiting for the new Mechanicus stuff to come out. Yeah, Battle Clade Servitus. I got the old. I found like really cheaply on... What's it, eBay? Yeah, eBay. The old Combat Patrol, you know, the one for Onega Dune Crawler, 10 Servitors, 3 Cataphon Breachers, and a Tech Priest. And they're like all of my favourite Mechanicus models, just in one box. I'm like, yes, Skitarii, beautiful. Dune Crawler, beautiful. Cataphon Breachers, oh so beautiful. I think I'm going to like kit bash the new character though. I think she would be very good for like proxying as my new character I want to do for my little Mechanicus army. They're meant to represent like the servitors that are the Mechanicus that are travelling on the ships with the Black Templar and supporting them. Or with my little crusade. My crusade is a lot nicer than most Templar crusades. Now at this point they're not Black Templars anymore. I like the Skitarii detachment, giving every unit stealth. They're so stealth detachment. I'm using the Techno-Archaeologist one. Just because, one, I like the Servitor Battle Clade. And two, I just like the idea of, I want the technology on this planet. And I'm going to do anything. Also, I think it goes really well with like a backstory for like a character who served as like a Techno-Archaeologist before becoming a Magos. Not a Magos, a Dominus. And they've like got information on all sorts of STCs and reserved knowledge on how to make stuff because, you know, they've been either working for people who have like been finding that tech or being the ones to find it themselves. So they've basically just uploaded to their memory like copies of all sorts of data files that they shouldn't have. And, you know, goes against a lot of the tech priest, you know, modus of operatum and their code of conduct, but she doesn't care. And the Black Templar aren't the type to ask questions when you're giving them weapons. Or at least my Black Templar aren't. It's like, how do we path to 127 Terminators in this little crusade? We got a little tech priest here who is, you know, knows a lot about how to make Terminators. Sicarians are also cool. I do like them. I actually like all of them. Like, I am tempted by the current combat patrol because I like the idea of a silver
Let's not
hound.
forget your Scarab Lady.
The Scarab Lady. Imhotep the Scarab Lady. No, Editep. I've been trying to look at if I could use the Crucible rules to better represent her, but I don't think the Necron Crucible rules are that great, to be honest. So, yeah, at the moment I'm using the rules of Imhotep the Stormlord, but instead she is Editep, the Scarab Lady. If you're thinking about Owl House right now, that's where I got the name. Eda for Owl Lady. But the entire thing is that she is a Necron Lord. That originally she was just like one of the Cryptech people. But when their like entire thing woke up, you know, what's it called? Their tomb mode. Most of the tomb mode was kind of dead at that point. And like so many layers of people had died, like, you know, in stasis while they were asleep, that somehow she's now the Overlord. She's just the only one that remains. She was never really in the line of succession, so far down it that she should have never had a chance to be there, but she's basically the only one that survived, apart from just a handful of others. But her entire thing is that she likes scarabs, so she's like constantly surrounded just by like swarms of scarabs. And her once per turn like explosive attack that the Stormlord does, instead she's just like scarabs everywhere. Everyone gets a scarab. Just scarabs flying all from around her, exploding in people's faces. That's what I imagine. Oh, but she's on a relatively nice things. Like, originally she probably wouldn't have been that nice, but after losing like everybody, mostly just due to tectonic like movements of the planet, like just destroying half of the stuff. After losing everything, she kind of like doesn't want other people, even if they're aliens, to suffer that same type of loss that she suffered. To drown the stars in metal wings. No, she doesn't want that. She doesn't want to like see everyone die off and be killed. So her entire thing is she's trying to rebuild her dynasty the best she can and maintain what's left of it. But at the same time, and protect what's left of it, but at the same time, she like sees people being attacked by Tyranids. She's like, oh, that's not nice. Let's get rid of those Tyranids. Sees Black Templar trying to like eradicate, you know, a planet's population for not defending themselves well enough from heresy. She's going to be like, oh, stop it for innocent people. Because reading about, you know, the nicer Necrons has kind of made me like want a character like that, where she understands a lot. She understands suffering. Admax stealing Necron scarabs. The other thing is because she was so far down, like low the totem pole of the dynasty and stuff, she's not like filled with all of this hate of all of the life and everything else that, you know, you just get by being the person at the top during the Necron's entire thing. Back when the Necrons were, dominant in the galaxy and stuff, she was basically just a lowly scientist, just, doing little work with the scarabs, doing lab tests and all sorts. And she was just happy. She was just happy in her own little world. Never really in a position of such authority that anyone, like, relied upon her or anything. And then just so many people up the chain died that this, basically, it's like, what if everyone at the company died and the intern who just joined last week is now, like, in charge of the company? Oh, I think that's hilarious. Okay, what do I want here? It's, is that Questoris flesh? Nah. I want, do I have the colour? I don't here. Let's get it out of this box. It's at the bottom because it's so... Ow, I just crushed my finger. Palex right, nope. Palex right, pallid witch flesh, nope. Rake off flesh, that's what I want. Rake off flesh. Pallid witch flesh again, because I got multiple... Rake off? Yeah, rake off. Yeah, I like giving a story to each of my things. I generally, like, half of my stories end up, like, for my background of my different chapters, is kind of just going against the entire thing, the premise of what that faction actually does. My Emotech for Scarab Lady, she's really nice and she's really humble. Like, completely the opposite of what you expect most Necrons to be. Unpainted one, Heresy of the Second Legion. Heresy of the Second Legion. These are Black Templar. Black Templar. That's a hive and IT. Oh, she hates the bugs so much she won't just let them have a nibble every so often. No, the Tyranids is probably the one faction other than Chaos that she's like, no, we need to eradicate them. But it's like my Night Lords. Like, Night Lords usually hate, worshipping the Chaos Gods and don't fall to them as easily. To the entire worship demon engines, all of that rubbish. My Night Lords, no, they completely fell. My Night Lords just went... For almost 10,000 years, they had avoided falling to Chaos to that extent, but because of a power struggle between the Sorcerer, and the second in command and the person in charge, the entire thing just descended into various cults appearing within the warband. And now the warband is split amongst 4 sections, where Nurgle, Tzeentch, Slaanesh, and then those who haven't fallen to any. My World Eaters are kind of cowards. Like, they've been kind of trying to escape the purview of the Night Lords, who are, like, hunting them down. And you think, well, they just would love a scrap like that. Yeah, but they wouldn't love a scrap like that if they know it's going to result in them being dead. Like, Khorne doesn't care where the blood flows from, but the Khorne Berserkers definitely do. It's like they'd much prefer the enemy blood flows rather than their own. So they're constantly just, like, picking and choosing for battles like you'd expect a Night Lord to do. That being said, a bunch of them were originally Night Lords who, like, saw their chapter fall into chaos and, like, ended up working with World Eaters to kind of try and purge it, but they failed and they fled with the World Eaters and ultimately became World Eaters. What else is there? My Tyranids aren't trying to eat the galaxy, instead they're trying to replant, like, trees. No, my Tyranids are just normal Tyranids for eating everything. Hi, Fingermarrow. Fingermarrow BTV, how you doing? No, don't kill the bugs. Oh, tiny Tyranids. They're just tiny Tyranids. Yeah. For Red Corsairs miniature is pretty cool. Pre-Heresy Astral Claws is cool, and for Red Crimson. Yeah! You watch Star Street Troopers, I get it. I'm a Tyranid fan for first time I got recommended. You, I tune in. It's you saying kill them all. No, I got like 5,000 points of Tyranids. I love my Tyranids. In fact, we've done more painting streams of Tyranids than we have of Templars. Tyranids were like my starting faction, or like the faction that got me in. Like, seeing a Carnifex in a really old White Dwarf magazine is what got me into Warhammer. Yeah, don't worry, we love our Tyranids here. All of my Tyranids, except my Jumpy Lictor, are in the Attic though. I can't show you them. But yeah, the Tyranids is like for one faction that are just... that's left that are just wholly evil. Like, you can literally say that you need to get rid of them all. Necrons used to be like that, but they changed the law to make them nicer. Or do you know, to have more personality. World Eaters are actually... oh, actually, I should be using Cadian Flesh Tone on this. Vakar Flesh is just 2. No, actually, Vakar Flesh is working. Yeah, it's leather. It's not a skin, it's leather. Just got to take over a world of them. Yeah. What are you going to use 5,000 points of bugs in? Apocalypse! Look, Eye of Terror's coming out. Apocalypse games. Now, what you should be asking is, what am I going to use 40,000 points of Black Templar for? Because that's too many Black Templar to use in a single game. Display purposes. Like, this is only for 50... this is a mobile detachment. That's the 5th detachment, I think. Wait, you got the primary detachment. The... heavy detachment, for relic detachment, then it's a plasma detachment, then for mobile detachment, then for siege force is the 6th one. 7th is the defense force. 8th is the stealth force. 9th is the rapid response. 10th is the armor detachment. 11th is the neophytes. 12th is the Ventral veterans. No, not Ventral veterans. The fire group. Really mobile fire group force. 13th is the Ventral veterans, it's just Terminators. And then you've also got the Air Force. Scout detachment for Warhound. Technically, the Scout detachment doesn't use a Warhound anymore. Instead, each of a detachment has one Knight or Titan affiliated with them. But that's not part of the points of a detachment anymore. But yeah, the Scout detachment often works with a Scout. It's called a Warhound Scout Titan for a reason. They found for under rock. Yeah! I mean, actually, that's true. There was a planet where they came across it, and it was like from the Horus Heresy or Great Crusade. And probably the Great Crusade. And it was just covered in like the wrecks of Imperial Knights and Titans and stuff. And the locals were worshipping them as gods. But when they got to it, they realised that a lot of the mechs suits were still functional. But a lot of them needed repairs and like replacement parts. But the main, the part for Mechanicum Throne or whatever of it, not the Mechanicum Throne. There's something Throne. That's like the really important bit. A lot of those were still functional of these knights. All they needed was refueling and some spare parts, but there were plenty of destroyed knights to provide spare parts and plenty of destroyed titans to provide spare parts. So that's where my knights come from, and then they got like some of the Templar serfs and some of the locals, and like experimented with them until they could find some that, would be able to pilot them, and they created a new knight house that is now honouring a pact to the Templars to join their crusade. Of joining our crusade until Once the Crusade's over, they'll return to their home. Or most of them probably will. Those that don't will become free blades. Yeah. I also picked my minis, but the T is silence pain. No! Do you guys like the specific Chaos War bands or like themed Chaos Space Marines better than running Noise Marines in Chaos Space Marines? And just making your own Slaneshi army instead of just running from as Emperor's Children? Well, that's part of the fun, I think, is that you can make a World Eaters warband if you want, using the Chaos Space Marine Codex rather than the World Eaters Codex, and the same goes for the Emperor's Children and other ones. And with Emperor's Children, you especially kind of have to do that if you've been collecting Emperor's Children before the new Codex, because a lot of your models probably aren't even usable in the new Codex. Which is a bit sad. But I kind of prefer making custom warbands just because there's a lot more flexibility in the Chaos Space Marine Codex. Like, my Nurgle I've got 1,000 points of Nurgle we're building, and that's got some Plague Marines in it. I was going to put some Demons in, but decided against it in the end. What do I want now? I want blue. I want outdoor. Go Calgar blue. Calgar. Outdoor, nope. Calgar, yep. And I also want to get some of the Bahaloth blue. Now it's Rust Grey. I do want some of that though. Bahaloth. Where would it be? Very bright blue. Stormfang. Astrogranite. Outdoor. Hylar Glacier. Wait, do I already... Oh, I already have it out. It's right here. Yeah. My Slaneshi guys, they use 20 Slaneshi cultists. Oh yeah, they have Noise Marines in them as well. I also like the idea of a Lord... Oh my gosh, actually. Because I'm using Chaos Space Marines with, you know, the Pact Band Zealots, I have the... I've got, you know, the special commemorative Noise Marine. Want to put him on the back of a Lord Discard, the other one with the guitar. I want to put him on the back of a Lord Discordant and like replace a Baleflame with, you know, some of the Noise Marine weapon stuff. And then he's gonna have the what's it called? The enhancement, the Slaneshi enhancement from Pact Band Zealots that gives him Feel No Pain 5+. And that's dangerous. What oh yeah, the Slaneshi also get sustained hits on their Dark Pact, so be critting on 5s with sustained hits. Feel No Pain 5+. And with a Baleflamer. Yeah. Oh, but I'm been looking for, you know, 3D printed parts to like make little speakers. I want to find like little just small speaker stuff that I can replace parts of the Lord Discordant mount on. I thought that would be cool. Yeah. I think it's at chainsaw, it's not blue enough. I need to make sure that this guy retains his blue. I like Death Guard and World Eaters. Death Guard followed by Iron Warriors are probably one of my least favourite ones. I used to not like Thousand Suns much, but they've grown on me, especially with Space Marine 2. And the new models look a lot really cool. I say new models. Most of the models look really cool, and I like the themes they're going with. I was never a big fan of Thousand Suns. Iron Warriors, I'm still not a big fan of. Tyranids. Not Tyranids. Night Lords I really like the looks of. Night Lord lore, I think is a bit funny, but I'm not a big fan of a Night Lord. Like lore and stuff. But the models are really cool. Although the Night Lord lore is fun just by how split the Legion is. So you can pretty much make whatever story you want and it's pretty accurate. And it's like, you can't, people might say, you can't have, you know, Chaos Fallen Night Lords. It's like, yeah, there's been multiple Night Lords that have fully fallen to Chaos. In lore. In fact, a great number of our characters in 40k are like, you know, possessed, demon princes, or, you know, joined the Black Legion. In fact, our only named character, Night Lord character in 40k at the moment is a Black Legion character who has a demon weapon given to him by Abaddon. It is a Space Marine. We're back to painting our Space Marines. I'm going to try doing at least 2 Space Marine painting streams a week now. Well, actually, not next week because there's a lot I want to do. I've got 2 drop pods I want to do. I've got some Tau... I want to still build the Tau Pathfinders and Breachers. Got no more Eldar to build at the moment. But I do have those 2 drop pods and someone was saying that they were wanting to see if a drop pod stream. So... Oh, Briar's raiding. We'll wait for them to start saying stuff so that we know that they're here. Because sometimes it shows that they're raiding, but it takes a little bit for them to join. Takes a little bit for them to join. There we go. But welcome, 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 raiders. Oh, my shout out command still doesn't work. I need Brian to tell me. Hi, there you go. Hi, Brian, you're here. Yeah, the raid worked, I see. Nice.
No, you were supposed to paint the Tau, or Gorebrand, or Blood Eater, whatever it was.
No, I don't have them undercoated. I'll have to get them undercoated. I've just been too busy to get things undercoated. But big ol' love hearts to you. I'm Cupcake Conjurer in both name and profession. First name Cupcakes, second name Conjurer, and I conjure cupcakes. Welcome, welcome. Hello, TA. We're painting little fellas at the moment. We're doing this gun. I'm gonna need to get some Adrex of shade on them. Did I do this guy's backpack? I did. Yeah, just in there. But welcome to the stream. I hope your stream went super well. Oh yeah, I need to do a shout out to Briar because the shout out command's still not working. Shout out at Briar Mare. Yeah, there we go. I'm out of cola. No! Oh my gosh! Look at Briar Mare there. Wow! I like it. It just shows you a little cupcake in the middle. Drinking drinks. Right, you're gonna actually have to show me what your command looks like for your shout out, how your automatic shout out works. No! Because I can't get, I wanted to figure that out by myself because I like doing that type of stuff, but every single one I've done failed. Oh, she hath been eared. I've been cat-eared. Oh, and we might be doing a collab soon. Oh wait, Briar, I'm gonna send you something hilarious. Because we might be doing a collab. What's a game that we might do a collab on? I've heard it's very, very buggy. Oh, here we go. Copy image. I'm sending it to you. It feels like a game that was made for me. It's my life story. There's a game of my life story out there. Oh. That game was made for you. I know. Chat, if you're wondering, you'll see. You'll see when we do the collab. There we go. Also, guys, keep your eyes open. Because tonight a teaser's going up for next Saturday. Debut! We're doing a debut! My brush has seen better days. Oh, we've been working hard. And Briar's helped with the debut. He made a lore video for me. Yeah. There we go. Did someone say debut? Yeah, I'm finally in a position where I've got everything I need. It's ready now. I'm assuming there's going to be no major issues. Oh, gosh. And then I'm just going to immediately commission another model. I have been thinking about getting a more Warhammer themed model with how much Warhammer streams are doing. Oh, gosh. There we go. We got things happening. We got things happening. But oh yeah, go and check out Briar. Go and give her a like. She does excellent streams. She plays lots of games like Kingdoms of Hearts or Kingdom of Hearts. I don't know. She's more in hip and with the kids than I am.
I summon thee, Dr. Smilex.
Hi, Dr. Smilex. How you doing? Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, but it's late for you, isn't it, Briar? Make sure you get some sleep and you take care of yourself and you do all the good stuff. Make sure you're hydrated and you're eating some foods. There you go. Now. This purple. Would Luxian purple be okay? No, Severus purple, not Luxian. Luxian is the other purple. Thank you. I will rest and lurk. Have a good painting time. Thank you. And let's look. Yeah, it's a little bit brighter. We can use this to make a gradient. Make a little bit of a gradient here. Because I want this upper part to be brighter than the lower part. I want to be significantly brighter. Need to make sure I don't mess up by painting the gold blob. Hello, Paladin Stem. Welcome to the stream. You're delayed. Don't worry about it. Delays happen, especially on YouTube, especially with trains. Although we don't have trains here. You're doing fine, a bit sleepy though. Haven't gotten any sleep lately, or I know that feel though. Been struggling with sleep myself. That's partly because I keep working into the middle of the night and then I don't get to bed properly. And sometimes it's like, I was tired enough to go to sleep earlier, but after you've been working for a while, sometimes you just wake up. Your body decides, you know what? Burst of energy. Then you don't sleep for ages. Oh, there we go. Okay. Jean Stealer Purple. Very nice colour, especially when you're painting two in it. But even when you're not two. I'm thinking I'll go for orange for my outdoor. I think that'll be a good colour. Getting sleep now for some reason. Nice. You're stealing all my sleep. And Dr. Smilex's sleep. Oh, I mean, as long as you're getting good sleep, I guess that's good. You're probably happier for sleep than I ever was. I'm joking. I'm doing that Shen comic about dinner for bike. Adds a little bit of a grade. Let's bring it down a little bit to make it more gradienty. So like, yeah. Don't want having a bit of a harsh gradient though. Isn't the worst. As I do think actually if we're having a harsh gradient, it needs to come down a little bit lower. It's 11:46 AM now. A lot of hours left. A lot of hours left. Unless you want to get up at 6 AM. In which case, not enough time. Get to sleep quickly. Oof. Here we go. By the way, last night I dreamed about the next campaign book from the Iron Warriors. One, and the rules for one detachment said you could have a Contemptor Dreadnought in Space Marines, Chaos Marines, and Admech armies. That would be cool. Although you can already do that. It's called Legend Rules. Well, actually, there's two ways you can do that. One, you can actually just use the rules for the basic Dreadnought. So for Toughness 9 Dreadnought that you can see in Loyalist armies. You can literally just use a Contemptor for that. They both use the same base size. They're both roughly the same size. Both have similar weapon equipments. Except the normal on foot Dreadnought doesn't get twin-linked versions of certain weapons. The other thing you can do is do the same with a Hellbrute. You can go, I don't like the current Hellbrute model, I'm just going to get a Contemptor for roughly the same size, on the same size base. Alternatively, you can literally just go, is this a friendly game? Yeah, okay, I'm going to use Legend Rules, and Legend Rules let you use Contemptors. And it could deep strike. You can do that if you go with you can give deep strike. I think you can, if orbital assault, you can give deep strike to a Dreadnought. It's 12:16 AM here. I tend to stay awake to about 2:30 and I pretend I don't have to wake up at 7 AM. No, that's not how it works. Okay, what do I want to do here? Okay, I need to get some red to do some highlighting here. I want to get... I forgot about that again. But actually, if you're using legend rules, you can make a Dreadnought Deep Strike anyway by getting the Dreadnought Drop Pod. Which, yes, used to be a thing. You could just Deep Strike Dreadnoughts on top of people using the Drop Pod. Wait until you hear that Knights also have a Drop Pod. Actually, when we were reading the Combat Patrol magazine, we saw we read about it, didn't we? The Knights drop podding in from like a fortress. Just dropping a fortress on the battlefield and walking out to the fortress as a bunch of knights. Don't copy me, you will have a full head of grey hair for right page of 25. Or just do as I do and have a nice full hair of golden hair and just never sleep properly. Always be stressed. Always be stressed. That's what I say. ABS. Always be stressed. AEMS. And even more stressed. ABS. EMS. EMS, even more stressed. Yeah. ABS, EMS. Always be stressed. Even more stressed. If you're not feeling stressed, just think about all the horrors in the world until, you know, you start being stressed again. It is perfect, you know? There we go. Jerry Berry. You know, I said I was going to do red, and I'm doing full white copper instead. Hot. Hot! What's hot? Cupcon's hair is green because Nurgle's gift. No, that's just this model's hair. My actual hair is like golden. Like, actually, it's kind of gone a bit more brownish at the moment. It's golden. It's all golden-y golden. Goldy gold gold. Grey hair at 25. Oh.
Thy tiny insignificant puff pastry haveth returned to THY land of the mortals.
But wait, is grey hair hot at 25? Because isn't the thing about like grey hair, you've also got like in a man, you got grey hair and grey stubble, and it's like only part grey, and you're like really dignified like silver fox, and you got the toughened skin, and the grey hair for woman at 25. Again, yeah, it's like you're mature, you're powerful, you're a silver fox. That's what it is. I thought your hair was painted in real life. My life is ruined. No, that's my other hair. I just changed my hair abound. But I can't always show it on the model that my hair, like what colour my hair currently is. Until I get my new model, in which case my hair colour will just change constantly. I don't know about other people, but I know it looks hot to me if someone's hair is completely grey. Completely grey! Likes people at their breaking points. I mean, to go completely grey, usually if you get grey hair that early on, it's going to be sections of hair and you're going to also have a bunch falling out. I knew someone who was like that. They had like this massive grey streak through their hair, but like right next to it, there was just like loads of hair was just fell out. Except they were like 16. You're like bringing people to a breaking point. You at least have the same hair glasses. Oh, my glasses! No, my glasses at the moment are yellow and pink. It doesn't look mature. It'll look messy. Yeah. Your hair will look like an absolute mess if it's like that. Generally, when your hair goes like that of stress, you're going to have lots of lost hair. It's going to be messy and it's not going to be fun. You sometimes find someone's hair can go white without all the same issues, but that's generally when you like suffered a massive trauma. Like a really bad one all at once. But it's not, but those ones sometimes you can have suddenly. But it's actually not as bad. It's just in the moment it feels really, really bad. And that's all it took really for your hair to, you know. Stop having colour in it. It won't do like in the cartoons and films where, you know, your entire hair just turns white all at once. What it instead does is basically from that point in time, when you're growing your hair, it has basically no colour to it. Yeah, whenever I feel really ill, you're gonna go now, bye-bye, Dr. Smilex, thanks for popping in. Have yourself a little cookie. Drink lots of cola. Yeah, when you, when I'm feeling ill or stressed or whatever, my hair often just decides it wants to knot up really badly. It's like when the hairdressers around, and for those cases, I can spend the entire morning just combing and brushing my hair, trying to make it look nice and to be nice and smooth for the hairdresser's brush to go through. But by the time I get into the seat, even if up until that moment I'd already been brushing my hair, it'll just be knotted again. You got to own your grey hair.
Holy crap. Ricky Gervais was live on YouTube an hour ago. Crazy that I got that in the recommend.
Ah. Not a big fan of Ricky Gervais. But each to their own. Different styles of comedy. There we go. Oh. Actually, I'm not sure what comedian I like at the moment in terms of like stand-up. I think it's James Acaster. I've liked some of his work, but then when I actually like watched some of his stand-up, he has some really good jokes, but a lot of his stand-up feels kind of meh to me. I like him on Mock the Week and stuff though. There we go. Just some nice highlight with some pink cover on the red. There we go. More. What am I doing? You call it cornbread. Cornbread! Who makes bread out of corn? Look at that axe. I like that axe. Although it looks nicer from this side. I should have started with the back side and then done the front instead. I did the front side and then the back side. Would have looked much. So that means that by the time I got into my groove, it was sort of a bit that you're less likely to see. Oh gosh. Joe. They call me Jerry Berry. Jerry Berry. What's this guy called? He doesn't have a name. Guys, what do you want to call this dude? What do you want to call it? Give your name suggestions. It can be serious. It can be a bit less serious. Because he's only kind of a generic dude. Characters I want to give more serious sounding names, even if it's a joke. Has to at least sound like it's trying to be serious. Okay, where did I put the lid. Lid. Oh my gosh, last night I pulled out so much of my entire bedroom trying to find, that canopy. So if you don't know, on Tuesday I dropped a canopy piece on the floor from the new Falcon set, and it's a very clear plastic piece, and I've just not been able to find it since. I've moved everything out. I love the Pyrex lighting effect. Thank you. They call me Cherry Berry. Okay, so I think what we want to do, we want to do the eyes now. After the eyes, we'll get some washes on him. And after the washes, we'll get some highlighting. Well, not highlight. We'll get the wear and tear on him. Because that's what I'm trying to do with this. I'm trying to make it look like the armor's old and, you know, used up. I don't know if I want to do for stuff on the gun. I kind of like the idea of maybe just not... Like, this guy, his gun's all... Like, he's been shooting his gun. It's all worn down. The paint's all blasted off and it's all dirty and stuff. But I'm thinking maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe we'll just paint the end black and just add a little bit of streak, but... Otherwise not. So yeah, what we're going to do is we want to just get a little bit of pink cover on the eyes. The tiniest bit for a highlight. And then we want to get some wet on them. Some white on them. So how we do this? Balance the little pinky on your hand or whatever. Let me get into here to see the eyes. Come on, get paint on the model. It's not coming off the blooming brush. Yeah, sure, sometimes it just dries on the way. Maybe not enough. Okay, that's good enough. Want to copy that for my Stormcast, but I don't think I have the skill. All you want is to get a really thin brush. Get yourself a magnifying glass, maybe. Like I got one here. And you don't actually need the magnifying glass. All I do is I painted this like silver coloured, and then I just took the white pen and just went do 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 do. Actually, no. First I went with a bar of blue, just clumsily just drawing lines on, and just going strip, 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 strip. Then I went over with Talisar blue, and then went over white on each of the lines. It's a very, very simple effect. But I honestly thought I wouldn't have the skill for when I first tried it. But you'll never know unless you try. But it definitely does help to have a very thin brush. Hand is being shaky. That's fine. Okay, got it. Okay, since the white scar white seems very, very good, we'll try that. We'll try the white scar white. Yeah. Oh gosh. I'll probably try again for lightning effects on a sword. Hi, Crazy Butt Nick. Next time we paint a sword. Which we should do. We've got a guy over here who has a sword. Where is he? Yeah, this guy. We'll be trying it again on this guy's sword. I'm tempted to do it on the guy's power fist, but... probably best not to. Okay, let's try some white star. Doing a 1K game day today. Ooh, good luck. Oh, on Monday, not today. Monday. I just saw a day and my mind auto-filled. I miss. Okay, gonna have to get some black there now. I'm not putting my hair on camera, am I? Sometimes when I'm like going in this close to magnify, I'm a bit worried about appearing on camera. Gosh, I just completely messed it up. Whatever.
Don't mess up.
Too late. Okay. Since I messed up that badly, I might as well just go back with the red. Cupcake should do a tutorial or something, more content. I am wanting to do some painting short streams. Although it's just finding the time and like when I've got the energy. And because I live with my parents, I don't live alone. There's a limited window of like when I can stream in the evening. So like after I've done a stream, I can't then do like a recording, a video, because you know my parents go to bed early. I don't want to wake them. Unfortunately, I've tried doing like quiet to streams and stuff, but unfortunately it does wake them. And quiet to recordings. There you go. I'm planning to do a few things. Like one of them is just about like how to keep your hands not shaking. So when you're doing that, keep your wrists on the table. This drastically reduces shaking. Try to keep both of your pinkies supported. So like this model, my pinky supported here. And then when I'm trying to paint into the eye, this is why I rest my pinky on like my finger here. And the more of your hand that you have supported, even if it's on the model, the more likely you are to keep your hands sturdy. The other thing is, if you like want to do things like hazard stripes or straight lines, is don't try doing it with your wrist. Well, don't try doing it with your fingers. Your fingers do not create straight lines very well. You can try with your wrist, that's a bit better, but honestly, trying to keep your hand itself like your wrist still, and your fingers still and just having your elbow do all the work for you. Very good. This is actually a skill I learnt for when I was drawing a lot, especially on the digital tablet, is wide arm movements are much better to get that straight line. And you often might like want to zoom in or whatever to try get a straight line when you're doing digital artwork. But often it's actually much better to zoom out and just go, and it works. Hi, Chaplain, how you doing? I hope you're having a... I'm not a kitty, that's just some fluff that got stuck in my fondant hair. It's just like some lint, some fluff. Lord, my 1k list is just 2 units of Wardens, 1 unit of Guard, and Blade Chat Shield. I'm waiting for the new 40k rules to hit with the new models, because most my custody list, all I plan is to get the new custody box. And where's my custody list? Adeptus Custodes, 1,120. Ooh, pre-orders! Yeah! So I wanted to get this version. And I did manage to get it in my basket, but I just couldn't get through the checkout. It was so annoying. They actually still do have the... Last a look. Yeah, they still got the limited edition Gaskell Thacker Warlord of Warlords book here. But honestly, this is cooler. Ooh! This had sold out at one point, I thought. Definitely sold out in all the shops to try buying it. But this one looks way cooler anyway, and it's hardback. Yeah, most of what came out today is books. I struggled to find it. The Chem Dogs one sold so quickly. I managed to get my hands on one. Oh, I meant to get this. Ah, it's fine. Death Watch. Oh, I want to get this. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to ask my father to get this. Oh. You know what? There we go. But yeah, where's the custody list? Yeah, I was looking at like trying it. So you got the graphics tank, you got the contempted
No, Mum, not the
dreadnought.
website. My eyes.
Lines are best in verticals, I find. So holding the model so you don't go side to side as much helps a lot. I find it's actually the opposite. I find going at like an angle is best. Where is Cuptle? Where is Cuptle? You're correct. Hi, you're speaking to us on the void, Cuptle. But yeah, 2 squads of custodian guards, graphics tank, you get your shield captain and then I'm thinking blade captain with each of the squads, and it's like, that is 1,140 points right there. Oh gosh, that's like, yeah. A warp gate took him. Cuptle is now soup. No, Cuptle's not soup. Don't listen to him, Cuptle. You'll never be soup. You'll never be soup. Because you're a cupcake, and cupcakes are friends, not food. So here we go. I need to get for black. That's all it's doing. Oh, fixing for eyes. I accidentally put white here. That's good. And I messed up this eye massively again. Very hard to come at it from this angle, that's why. Well, one issue of trying to paint black with a thin brush is if you've already got black on your model, it's hard to tell exactly where the brush is because the tip is going to be black and it's going to just camouflage. Into the model. I can't actually speak too much about trying to do straight lines and models, because I don't really do things like hazard stripes. What I generally find is I find this motion where it's not vertical, it's a diagonal, but you just basically hold your model at where you need to do for painting and you go dunk, dunk, dunk. The ocean is soup. The ocean is soup! It's a very watery soup. A very salty soup too. Like, I don't think soup is generally, you know, I think soup's a lot more dense than the ocean is. There we go. Some cola. Okay, but is that it? So we got the eyes done. A little bit dirty. Oh no, there's a little bit more black need to do there. Maybe come in from the front. Is that light on? It is. Just doesn't feel like it's on. It has some models up there. Oh yeah, there it is. There's the light. Okay. I put stale, no mold bread and cakes in pudding. I pretend it's like cornstarch and Pewter Guard cupcakes. No! No, don't do that to the cupcakes, they're friends. You mean to ask, a Black Templar's your main chapter? Yeah. I mean, at this point, they're barely Black Templars. It's more like a successor chapter that originally started as a Black Templar crusade. But yeah, we're building 40,000 points of them. I say building, not painting. So yeah. Definitely the main action that we've been doing. Okay, how do the eyes look now? Not too shabby. I am planning to do a homebrew chapter of Salamander successors, and the main point of them is that they're impoverished. Like, they don't have access to Terminator armor, instead they use Centurions. And I'm building 1,000 points of Firstborn Ultramarines. Which I'll start doing streams on once I've got all the models and I'm going to paint them. $40,000, nice. An army that can stand against my Skyhammer. Skyhammer. Skyrim. What was it? Skyhammer. I've got my own Arc army. That's 3,000 points-ish. It's still got a lot of models to get for it. I've got the commandos now, and I've got... We just need to do a couple of models. For one of the bits. We'd built... Do you want to actually see the giant... I'm doing more distractions. Anything to not paint, apparently. I've got a... We built a battle fortress. Yeah, it's made from like some really old, really badly painted and converted chimeras. If I lift this camera up, actually. There you go. Cupcan has 127 Terminators, but just refuses to use any. for Sally's. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've already got too many Terminators. Yeah, wow. As you can tell, it's actually you can probably tell it's a Death School warband. Little computer saying wow on it. Missiles at the back. Big old warped cannon from an Imperial Knight. Be careful. It's not actually finished because I want to get on the model. I bought some 3D printed grots that have like guitars and stuff and speakers, and I want to put them on the model, but I need to paint them first. So next time on undercoating models, I'm going to undercoat them. Add more DACA. Add more DACA. Yeah, and this part's upside down on purpose. Oh. And that's some for Mega Orc War Boss, which we converted into a big mech. Gold DACA Mech Ripper, that's who it is. That's the guy in charge of this warband of orcs. It wasn't meant to be a battle wagon, but then it realised it's like way too big to be a battle wagon. Oh yeah, so for colour scheme, if you're wondering, it was meant to be like scrapped chimeras from like a planetary defense force. The planetary defense force we use is mostly like a beige short of colour scheme. So Sandry Dust just dry brushed down with Wraithbone. But so they're meant to be like rusted scrap heap things that were stolen from them, and then they just bolted it all together and turned it into a battle fortress. Yeah, but it turned out to be way too big to be a battle wagon, it turns out. I like the tank scrap plates. Yeah, they're from Green Stuff World, just plasticard. Oh. I love me my Death Skulls. Hit it with an axe! That didn't work. Shoot him! No, what am I? Oh yeah, and here's the sap cannons. So if I am going to use it as a battle fortress, these are like the sap cannons at the side of it. But they can come off if I'm going to use it as a battle wagon. It's basically, if you agree to that it's a battle wagon, it's just a bit too big for a normal battle wagon, it's fine. I got the measurements of like how big a battle wagon with a death roll on the front is meant to be. But it turns out my measurements were a bit wrong. Of the measurements I was using. Or maybe it was actually the measurements of a battle fortress. I didn't realise I accidentally googled battle fortress and not battle wagon. That actually might be the case. Oh gosh. I like this model, but let's put it away now. Let's put it away. There we go. There we go. That is one of the most beautiful things you've seen. Thank you. It just needs a little art. It just needs a little grot band to be playing atop of it. And it'll be finished. Also, I need to paint the banner that's coming off the gun. Okay, let's lower this again. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, okay, what do I want to do with you now? Washes, that's what I want to do. So I want to get a brush. But I don't mind getting a bit damaged here. I can't remember if I cleaned this, so I'm just going to clean it again. I'm thinking we want Agrax Earthshade. I want a brush that I got a bit more control of, so let's grab this one. And Agrax Earthshade. Is it out? Or is it in a box? It might be in a box. Garganta fur? No, thank you. Garganta fur is actually really good for leathers. Cataching Shade's great for leathers and dead things. Cataching Flesh again. What's this? Soulstone Blue. Strike Yellow. Maybe it is already out. Oh no, here it is. Agrax Earthshade. So this is going to be on for gold, mostly. And for leathers. Oh yeah. There we go. So then what we can do after this is work on the... Oh gosh, that was way too much. Way too much. Get it off. Get it off. It doesn't matter if it gets some for black. It's more if it could just get some for lighter colours, so I don't want it. Only human, and I bleed when I fall down. There we go. Raven Guard are also cool for coolest black colored. No! Black Templar is so much cooler. They got the cool armor and the tabards and stuff. Although I do like the Raven Guard. For my stealth detachment, my scouted detachment, my aim is to paint them in camo. You know, very dark camo, so it still looks black from a distance. But using very dark browns and greys and blacks to get a sort of distorted camo scheme. And they're going to have a brown shoulder pad on the right shoulder pad for the most part. Some of them might switch over. But I'm thinking they won't have white shoulder pads. Instead, they're going to use a pale grey. Because, you know, they're camouflaged. Like, and that's in part inspired by the Raven Guard. Also, I did build that has 10 jump packs in it, the scout detachment. Partly because I figured out, because I bought the Raven Guard box set. And I figured out that if you give, with the Vanguard detachment, you can give the, oh, what's it called? The captain of the Vanguard detachment with jump pack. You can give him an enhancement that gives him infiltrate, and then you can attach him to some assault intercessors. And now you've got a squad of infiltrating assault intercessors for first turn charged. It's like, okay, I'm just going to set up like 9 inches away from your deployment zone. It's like, okay, I'm now going to jump into your deployment zone. It's like, okay, and then I'm going to charge you, and then I'm going to hit you with 11 mortal wounds. Well, up to 11 mortal wounds. If you use a chaplain instead of a captain, you can get more mortal wounds out of it, but I think the captain, he gives you +1 to... No, he gives you +1 strength. That's it. Yeah, gives you +1 strength for the charge. And if you combine that with a Black Templar vow to get +1 to wound against anything that's the same toughness as your strength or is higher than your strength. So that means he puts you into strength 5, which puts you into the category of being able to wound a lot more things on 5s rather than 6s. And with a +1 to wound against them, then you're wounding them on 4s. Adding for mortal wounds. And it's like he's potentially taking out knights in the first turn. It's just, how much damage do you want to do? Yes. Yes is the answer to that question. All of the damage. Oh, I got some hard coat here. I think did we do hard coat on him? I think we did. Did we do hard coat on this one? I'm not sure if we did. It would be fun to actually put some hard coat on it. Let's get one of these brushes that still works a little bit. Hard coat's basically a varnish. What's the law for the Litany of Hate from the chaplain? Does he make attached units more hateful for more damage? Basically, yeah. He basically says the people you're attacking are absolute evil, vile creatures, and if we allow them to live, then if we allow even one of them to live, you know, it will be a blight upon the Emperor. And he basically gets you riled up into such a fervor of hatred and angst. It doesn't have to be. It basically, he gives you inspiring speeches throughout the battle, and you're basically just going to be riled up. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take him on. We're going to win fish. So it could just be inspiring you, but often, you know, it's the Imperium. The thing that they use to inspire people for most is hatred, so the likelihood is his speeches are literally just hate speeches about the enemy being evil and bad, and you should make sure that they don't survive the battle. But it doesn't have to be. Like, imagine salamander chaplains might be more like, my brothers, we need to make sure that none of the enemy lives so that the people may live safe. Or even if one of them escapes, the people of this world would never be safe. Those guys eat cupcakes. Oh my goodness! They eat cupcakes! Destroy them all! That can't be allowed. Those fiends! Those fiends! Eating our friends who are not food. It's like... Isn't saying that their food, their friends are not food, kind of imply that they might be food? No, no. No, that's heresy, that is. I must go. Stay sweet and awesome. You too! Chaplain. You too. Thank you for coming to the stream. Thanks for popping in. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Yeah. Okay, you know what? Let's just do a little bit of this. A little bit of streaking. Oh, yeah, go. A bit of damage. A bit of damage. Let's get some lead belcher. Is a lead belcher out? No, it is not. I can just grab some. Don't worry about it. I don't want to use bronze. I'll use bronze, actually. We've got some Balthasar gold over here. Off to smash heretics. Nice. A chaplain in chat left. There we go. Yeah, just a bit of wear and tear at the end of the gun there. Maybe a bit of a lead belch will actually not be too bad. So I'll get some or Stormhost Silver, either or. Whatever I pick up first. Stormhost Silver was at the top. And get some Fenris Grey. Is it Fenris or Rust Grey? It's one of the two. It's the lighter one I think I usually go for. There we go, yeah, just add a bit of sheen to this. Bit of sheen, yeah. I think some known oil will help that. Where's the known oil? Do we have it yet? There it is, it's right there. Just wash the brush first. Maybe I should have waited for the entire thing to dry properly first. Well, whatever. It's fine. I'm sure.
Drink the Nern oil.
No! Don't drink the known oil. It's apparently non-toxic, but it's still not good for you. Might give you tummy aches. Okay, what do I want to do now? I don't know. Eat good stuffs. Okay, let's take a different brush out. And I can't remember if it's Rust or Fenris Grey. I got Rust Grey here. Where's the Fenris Grey? Fenris Grey is right here. Okay, gonna have to just mix them both up so I can figure this out. Fenris Grey would be better. Actually, I
Drink
think he
the
might
Nern
use
oil too.
Rust Grey. I think Rust Grey. Maybe. No,
If
don't
known oil
drink
is
it.
skill in a bottle, then shotting it like the size of the bottle implies will increase your skill 1,000-fold.
That is lies. Don't believe Cuptle. You can't tell people that. I do like how much dynamic range this model has. Like, just to be able to look right at something. They're going to be too bright. I don't know. We won't know until we try it. Let's use this brush. I don't want to use this brush. Do we only use this one actually? No, we use this one. Dip Cuptle in Vernone. No! No! We don't need him in Vernone oil. I need him out for noon oil. Yeah, I like my models to feel like they've been through a battlefield. So that's generally the way I try to paint my models. Very worn, very damaged. They're not shiny. They've probably already been through a dozen battles and not had a chance to even change out for armor before arriving in this battle. And they're going through so many battles that even if they have had a chance, the serfs and bard and stuff don't have a chance to clean and repair all the armor between each engagement. By the way, do you guys headcanon that, you know, like models and stuff that really should be tougher? Or, you know, where they can't really, the losses that you would suffer in a single battle would be so high that it just makes the faction, like with the low numbers, feel impossible to have. Do you do a headcanon like different ways for escape? Like, I always headcanon that 99% of Terminators are just teleported off the battlefield rather than being killed. And that, like, Marines that fall in battle are generally just taken to safety. Or just fall back, like, because the armor's taken too much damage. Not all the time, but that's generally like what I imagine. I prefer Aggressive Shade. I like both of them for different things. Depends what I'm trying to do. Like, Aggressive Shade is great on, like, gold and cloths and stuff. But then if you got, like, weapons and other things, like the known oil. I imagine that it's, like, not just them either. I imagine, like, when the Eldar go to battle, they also do similar stuff. Crisis battle suits and, like, Casvikin armor and Tempestus armor, I also imagine, like, has medical stims in it. And that if you, like, you take a serious, like, life-threatening injury or something, it, like, just really, like, pumps you full of stims to keep you alive, and you just, like, get off the battlefield. Now, if you look at the Guardian and the Space Marines, they both kind of have a suggestion that's exactly what happens with the fact that you have medical kits. You can use apothecaries to return destroyed models, or, you know, med kits, representing that most of the models that actually fall in battle are not dead, they're just injured, and a lot of those injuries can be just fixed relatively easily. Like, sometimes maybe it's just shell shock. Like, the reason that we got the med kits can bring back so many guardsmen into battle is basic if you just give them a shot full of adrenaline. It's like that giant turbo laser destroyer that just eradicated a guardsman, and then they immediately just brought him back the next turn. Yeah, no, he wasn't killed. It just, like, shot near him. It, like, blasted the rock right next to him and he got knocked to the ground, and now he's just, like, shell-shocked, and the medic just, like, stabbed him with, like, a stim, and he's like, oh, I'm ready to fight. Yeah, guardsmen dying in droves makes sense, but at the same time, they're the ones that have the most models returning of a battle that aren't just, you know, that are meant to literally be the same people. Although, is it the, I think you've got two types of medkits, don't you? You've got is it the Cadian ones that bring models back per turn, and the Krieg that give you feel no pain, or is it the opposite way round?
Get up, soldier. We've got a Titan to charge. Affix bayonets.
Yeah.
Brother, I require an apothecary.
Yeah, that's... So I generally imagine that, like, after a battle, like, if Space Marines that have lost a battle or something, they'll just be, like, all the surviving members will be, just, like, trying to get as many of the injured as possible back on the feet and like escaping and falling back, and that many of the injured, many of, you know, your lost models might not even be dead models or, you know, injured ones. They're just people that have been like, you know, told to fall back to protect the wounded or to help the wounded get off a battlefield. Same goes for stuff like, you know, battle suits for the Tau and stuff like that. Because especially Eldar are much, much more fragile than any of their lore suggests they are. Like, Eldar are not fragile in any sense of the word, but they have poor armor saves and a low toughness. And their armor's not actually bad. Like, their armor, despite how thin and useless it is described as being, like, incredibly powerful and incredibly tough. And, like, capable of, like, stopping bolt rat guns and stuff. It doesn't always stop them the same way power armor doesn't always stop them, but... So I just have to imagine that many of the stuff that we see... I guess if you play Crusade games, you get battle scarred for destroyed units. Yeah! And you have to, like, you roll a dice to see if they get battle scars and not. And stuff. Like Guardsmen, it makes sense that really you're just replacing them. Space means it makes less sense for. Same with Eldar. Tau also probably save more of their guys than the Guardsmen do. But that's also one of the reasons why I like to imagine that units, like especially for Eldar, just are a lot tougher than the game makes them out to be. And the reason for discrepancy is just because as soon as they start taking too much casualties or damage or whatever, they just go, that's it, I'm out of here. As soon as the odds get too against them. One thing I guess you can imagine for Guardsmen and stuff is that, like, if you bring in a dead model back, it's really just calling in for reinforcements. It's like, Greg, get in here. Tim's down. Oh, that could actually be a cool thing. Like, imagine if you've got a bunch of units on the battlefield that, you know, aren't actually combatants. And you don't see them as a result. But they're just like people that are coming onto the battlefield and, like, you know, grabbing your wounded and taking them back to, you know, safety. They're just field runners. And that, like, if one of you guys gets obliterated, they just call one of the field runners into the battlefield rather than bringing someone back. I don't know. I feel like I need a headcanon some of this stuff to some extent. Because the game doesn't always give us that sort of thing. Although, as you said, Crusade games do that sort of thing. I found out Tau are the only army at the moment that during Crusade games they have supply lines. It's like no other faction, I think, has supply lines for Crusade games. Or at least, you know, built into their faction. I like to imagine that's not only just because, you know, the Tau actually, you know, care more about, you know, making sure that everyone's supplied. But the Tau have to make sure they're supplied a lot more. Because, like, the Space Marines, their ships are literally Ford ships. In terms of, like... You see in Space Marine 2 a little bit, but... They're basically capable of creating and not just maintaining, but making as much ammunition and equipment as they need. All they need is raw resources fed into them. Which they're fully capable of doing. Like, just go find a meteorite, fill it up, just steal all the resources from a planet, And they can maintain massive stockpiles of resources on these massive ships. And then you got guardsmen running around using mostly last weaponry, which you can just charge by leaving it in the sun for a few hours. And the tower fair running around.
It just means Tau does logistics. The Imperium is run by Robot Girly Man.
Yeah, but even the Eldar don't do the logistics stuff. But the Eldar, again, is like, they've got their webway portals. They've got their webway portals. They've got their craft worlds. They basically got infinite resources. And the ability to just replenish very easily. The Imperium travels through warp a lot better than like the Tau do, and a lot faster. So it's easier for them to keep open long supply lines, like over greater distances. But on top of that, they're running around with these massive forge ships. Their supply lines are the fleet itself. The fleet doesn't need to have to keep getting replenishment. It's fully capable of manufacturing anything it needs. And the raw resources it needs could be harvested pretty much anywhere. You don't need a habitable planet to harvest resources for them. I think they have farms and stuff on some of the ships. At least I know that they do the entire, their equivalent of Silent Green on ships, which is just grow algae in these massive vats. That can be turned into nutrient paste and bars. BFGS campaign systems as well. Destroyed ships are replaced with a novice crew. Crippled ships suffer -1 leadership, so that other crews survive, get to improve leadership or get a crew skill. Ooh, that's cool. I think the Crusade, you can represent that. Do you know battle scars like on a Space Marine? I imagine battle scars is literally a Space Marine suffering scars. But for like guardsmen and stuff, it would represent like for new recruits replacing the old ones, but they got less experience. And they've got less unit cohesion because they're not used to one another. But your experience comes from the fact that the sergeant in charge of them is experienced. Like he's one of the few survivors from the wiped out unit. Or like a couple of the guys within it are survivors. You could also represent it like, in the ways of, like you have your command squad or like one of your elite units wiped out. You replace it with, experienced members of other units. Some of these guys might be carrying their own injuries around with them as well. But yeah, I know that the Tau do more logistics, but the fact is no one else is like negatively affected by not having supply lines, which just suggests that the Tau are the only ones that, they actually need to maintain supply lines. They do get bonuses from supply lines though, that's the cool thing. But every single faction gains bonuses in different ways, and the Tau gain their bonuses from having local supply lines set up, so that they don't have to rely on long term, on much less reliable supply lines. Oh yeah, one of the reasons the Tau supply lines in general, like while they do care about logistics, it's their ships travel a lot slower over faster distances, like they're faster than light's a lot slower. So they have to anticipate all of their needs much earlier on. Whereas the Imperium, they can travel a lot faster. Like in theory, the supply lines might be like 2 years out of time because of the warp stuff. But quite reliably, if they can get supplies, like you make a demand, then within a few days you might have those supplies. Depending on how far you are away from like the closest Imperial world. At most a couple of months. But unless you get like really bad. But not only do the Tau struggle to, travel quickly through the warp and stuff, faster than light travel, their communication lines are much, much slower. So it could take you... The Imperium can pretty much transmit information and messages, not instantly, but very, very quickly across massive distances. As a result, you can be pretty much guaranteed that within a couple of days, any message you send out is going to be picked up by somebody. And they're going to be, if they decide that you're worth giving supplies, they're going to be sending supplies. But for the Tau, it might take a few months for that message to finally reach the homeworlds. The Night Titans and Knights have a built-in kitchen in them. I don't think the Knights do. The Titans might, for all I know. The Imperator Knights probably do. Like, they got entire cathedrals on the back. I know that the Knights drop using these drop fortresses, and these fortresses are basically entire resource bunkers. And they... I read one of the things about, from trying to attack a Knight bunker, that had dropped the Knights in. And they had already set up like a feudal farm around the bunker. And they've erected walls and stuff around the farms. So they had like your main bunker where the Knight actually drops, or a drop pod for the Knight. The main bunker had a whole load of like armories and stuff inside, including a mini manufactorum, where they were just like producing more weapons and ammunition for like all the, the serfs and stuff. And then the serfs were working for farm outside the bunker. And then they had another set of walls that they had physically erected, so it wasn't part of the proper original drop pod. And so yeah, they've got full-on stuff with them. The good thing about Tau logistics is they're often dealing with defense or short-range offenses. Yeah, that's the major thing about them. It's when they're on like more long-distance, like the sphere expansions, but that's one of the things about their anticipation. Their sphere expansions are like planned months or even years. And actually, I say years. They're often planned like decades in advance. And they'll be pooling resources in one area, just getting everything they need. And setting up all the supply lines, setting up all of the... making sure that by the time they get out there and they're fighting, they're already going to have new ships resupplying them. Already being sent after them pretty much within a few days. And it's just going to continue trying to do that resupply. Well, the thing about them is that they try anticipating their needs, so they'll often have to try and over-anticipate their needs. But if they end up under-anticipating them, it can leave them pretty much stranded, because it could be months before they realise that they don't have enough ammunition and enough supplies. Which the Imperium also struggles with to some extent, but you generally find that the most Crusades will have a variety of astropaths and some administratum looking over it. So you're going to have quite a few levels of fail-safes with like Imperial Crusades. It's generally when you're going to have like these sort of forgotten Crusades, very minor ones. Like any sort of major one, they're pretty much... If they realise that they've not supplied enough of something, they're going to find out very quickly. And they're going to have something already going out to support them very quickly. And if something messes up, they're probably going to be getting more messages out there. The exceptions are if, like, the Tyranids cut them off from the warp, which the Imperium has worked around multiple times, or Chaos tries to obscure them, which again the Imperium has worked around many times. The Imperium is pretty much too reliant on this idea that they can, if they need something, they can just communicate it and resupply rather than anticipating what their needs will be. The most successful crusade was the... oh, what's it called? Macarius one? Is that it? And that one was much more like a Tau sphere expansion in terms of like anticipating needs, making sure they had good supply lines and everything like that. And Gulliman with his Indomitus Crusade did the exact same thing.
This is to remind Capcom she has added negligible amount of paint into the sea of grey.
I've done it. I've done it. Look, it's fine. We got one model finished today. Oh, I did do badly today. I apologise. Look, chat. It's either paint or talk to you. I can't do... you expect me to multitask? What am I, a robot? Oh. Over Mongoose, hello! My resin experiment worked. It looks a bit blobby if you look too closely, but it fits. Nice! I've got my own. Oh, guys, I never showed you. Super cool model. It's a little cherub! It's got a little sword and shield. Oh! But yeah, I got my own modes. Honestly, it's not that great. This one, not that one. That one is. This one's not very good. That one's kind of okay. Yeah. When the Imperium actually does decide to think about supply lines, it can do pretty well. It's just... the Imperium often does not think about supply lines. Or at least not until they already have to deal with something. It's like Black Templar Crusades. They don't think about stuff like that. They just go out, go on a crusade, take planets, anything that they need, they try getting there. But they're often followed by manufactorium ships. And they often, you know, their main like ships and stuff of the crusade would generally be able to... it has a full-on factory and farm on board. Anything that they need, they'll be able to produce while on crusade. I think the Tau do have some stuff like that. Like, I think that's part of like what their crusade thing is. In which like they'll take a world, and part of what they'll be doing is they'll be setting up like factories and stuff on the world. So they have all the supplies on their ships to set up a factory on a planet. And to set up farms on planets. It's just, they have to actually capture a planet to fully do that. Or at least maintain enough control to set up these factories. Without them getting blown to pieces. Pretty much every other faction doesn't need to do that. The Imperium has their spaceships that can produce stuff. The... Chaos obviously does. Eldar have their craft roads and their webway for just really good travel. They're never far away from resources. The Tyranids, they got their bioships, which produces all the resources they'll ever need. They gain resources from just winning fights. Well, not even winning fights, as long as they just cause enough casualties to the enemy. The Necrons, again, can produce anything they need. Using their ships. And their arcane technology. Esoteric. Photon often go in with, again, giant manufactorium ships and stuff. And half of the thing that they're doing is immediately landing on a planet and mining it for resources. I assume Grey Knights walk into a convenience store, grab 6-pack and move your memories and leave without paying. Pretty much. Although often, I don't think they even care that much. They'll probably just wipe you out and half a planet with you. Until no one remembers that they're there. Although actually, do they have the ability to alter people's memories? Because it used to be basically if they kill anyone. Or they basically give you a contract to sign. Like a Vtubing contract. Oh, what is it? I forget the term for it. The way you can't, anything discussed, you can't disclose to anybody. Oh, very specific. I forgot what it's called. It's on the tip of my tongue. I forget. I can't talk about it. I signed a non-discretion no. I forget the word. It's not just VTubers, it's like most people in the entertainment industry, weapons industry, science, all sorts. Have to sign it. I imagine they just get you to sign that thing. For people where it's like, we like you, we're gonna let you live. Oh no, I'm not that caught up on Grey Knight lore. Cupcake needs to play Space Hulk Deathwing. I don't know any other VTubers who love. Actually, I know one. Tiger. Tiger! We've not really talked. I played Space Hulk Deathwing before. Honestly, wasn't the most fun. It's a fun game with friends. I don't have those things. Fun game with friends. What? But what is this word you refer to? This friend. Is it a type of food? Is it better than spaghetti and chips? Spaghetti and chips. Friends are a myth. Isn't that a TV show? I think it is. Yeah, it's a TV show. Joey! Joey! He got flanderized. Flanderization he did. It's like the puppers, but I know no puppers can play games. Puppers. Friends are just future servitors. Servitor! Servitor! Servitor, baby! He's gonna stop you. Guys, have you seen something cool? Have I shown you? New recruit. I need to show you again. It's something pretty fun. There we go. If we go down here, past there, here we go. Demon Herald, Crucible character, click on him. Make him a Demon of Plagues. Give him Giggling Balemite, which this model could be attached to Nurglings. I can give him Jolly Gut Pipes. Meet your Crota. Now we'll give him Keep Counting. Then we'll give him Disgusting Sneezes. And then... there you go. Look at this. It's a demon. It's a nurgling character. You can make a nurgling character. A nurgling character that's toughness 5 of 5 wounds. No invulnerable save, apparently. Because they forgot to give demons invulnerable saves because, you know, infinite wisdom of Games Workshop. But yeah, you can have a tiny bale sword or a tiny corrupted staff. It's adorable. And you can have disgusting sneezes. Oh. The bale sword gives you damage 2 and -2 AP, but you're only strength 2. But you do have lethal hits. Or the corrupted staff, you're strength 4, only AP -1, damage D3, so it's a bit random. And you also have lethal hits. Yeah, you can have a little nurgling. A little nurgling. But you can also just choose to give him like a full foul blade sword or diseased teeth and claws. Yeah. It technically could just be better to give him a foul bale sword, but it doesn't have tiny keyword. It's not tiny, so you don't want to give it to him. You want to give him the tiny one. Yeah, in fact, that's all I wanted to show you. I think it just reminded me of a little... I want to have like a tiny baby servitor as like my character now. Okay, just lower this. There we go. Don't forget to like the stream. I heard the like button. Said the new nurgling characters suck and nurgling shouldn't get to be characters. So you should teach that like button a lesson. You should give it a big old punch. Punch it in the face. Oh, so have you seen? I've got a new video. I've got a new video up and a new video's going to go up tonight. Oh, sounds amazing, doesn't it? So after the stream, you should go and watch the video and give it a like. How's this looking? He looks okay. He doesn't look amazing though. I don't know how to feel. With a base, he might look better. I could give him some apothecary white. That might help. I would just add a little bit of a gradient to the model. Envisian grey. Apothecary white. So, apothecary white isn't really a white colour. It's more of a grey colour that you put over whites to like... Imagine a very, very watered down known oil. In a way. Okay, we need to just get rid of all of that stuff at the bottom. All of that pigment down there. Give it a big old shake. Give it a shake. It's almost done. Almost. Give a good old vortex shake. Spin. There we go. Just shaking it all up. Almost. Almost. It's just a little bit more in there. Just a little bit more in there. Just vortex it all up. Oh, it's just a little bit in the corner. Got it. There we go. Now that's how you get your armwork, Captain. Never skip arm day. Because if you do, you'll never be able to mix your Citadel paints. So yeah, just put it on. And then you can go... It just adds a little bit of grey to the model. Like if you put it straight into black. You see, it barely does anything. See, it's grey, not white. But it's very, very thin. Definitely really good for like, if you've got like a skull or whatever. And you want to like have the shadows on the skull. In all the crevices. Really great for that. But also it's just great for like, I want this bit dark. And with it being a very thin contrast paint, it doesn't really matter if it goes like on anything else. Like you can always create these gradients using a grey paint, but then you need to be careful. Like just getting it onto the black, it barely does anything. Just makes it a bit murky. Bye, chat. Bye, Denison. You must sleep. Have a good sleep. Thanks for being in the stream for so long and thanks for popping in and stuff. Okay, we're almost finished. Let's get some known oil there now. And I think that's basically it. And go over with some black on some of this Fenrisian grey areas. You know what, let's get a different brush out. I don't want to ruin this brush. There we go. Yeah, so from the 26 Marines that we need to paint, we've got 3 of them done. So just tomorrow I can't get distracted as much. I need to paint. I try getting some painting done before the stream. It's just, you know, it takes a while. Because I painted him relatively quickly just off stream. I keep allowing myself to get distracted. That being said, I had a lot to talk about today, so, you know, it's fair. Okay, are there any parts here where I feel like I should have a bit of black on them? Yeah. Let's go. Let's go, yeah. No, it just helps bring some of the Fenrisian grey into. I keep coughing and have a massive head pain. Sounds like you got a head cold. Or not just a head cold. It sounds like you got a full-blown cold. Be careful. Take care of yourself. You know. There you go. All of it, take care of yourself. Could also just be dehydrated. That's both of them are symptoms of dehydration. But I somehow doubt it's just dehydration. There we go. Just remember, you're allowed to relax. You're allowed to take a bit of time to care for yourself. Okay, where's that brush I wanted to use? I used it before for hard coat. Not that one, not that one. Oh, here, this one. Yeah, it's nice. Been dealing with sinus issues since mid-January. Ooh. Have you been to a doctor? Or otherwise, have you tried using some like nasal spray? Because I got given a nasal spray and it was pretty good until it started making my nose bleed. I had to stop using it because of that, and I'm still struggling to get over the bleeding. But my sinus issues had been going on since pretty much hay fever season ended, but at least that's when I noticed it. Maybe I should put some hard coat just on the eyes. That could be good. Give them shiny eyes. Oh, look at that skull. Shiny skull. Maybe I shouldn't put hard coat on the skull. Nah, you know, you don't really learn these lessons unless you try them or you've watched someone else do it and realise, yeah, that's a bad idea. Yeah, hard coat's really good. I love hard coat. Do I have corn blood as well? I swear I got corn blood. I want to try out corn blood and some of these other colours actually while we're here. But I remember. I want to see what they're like. Is this a corn blood? Blood for the blood god. That's it. Blood for the blood god. I went to a doctor and got prescribed amoxicillin. Ooh. It's not worked. If they might have said it takes a while for it to work, but if it's not worked, it's generally a good idea to, you know, go back to the doctor and inform them of this. Oh, that was difficult. That hurt my hand a little bit. Let's look. Blood for the blood god. I just want to paint a little bit on the base just to see what it's like. But yeah, I bought some of these technical paints. Underhive Ash dry brush. What's this? Armageddon Technical. Terminus Stone. Known Oil. Iron Jaws. Typhus Corrosion, yeah. Visor Rust. Ooh, Visor Rust. That actually does have a very similar colour and like texture to actual blood. It took 10 days till they all got used up and I didn't feel much better while taking it or after. There's been a super flu going around my neck of the woods. Ooh, that's not good. In which case, hopefully that means she'll just be fine afterwards. Ooh, that's a very bright orange rust colour. That might actually be really good for doing the orange colour on my Eldar. But let's try this. Typhus. Maybe this would be good on the gun. Oh, it's gross looking. Oh, let's get some of that off. Oh. If we get on like the feet and stuff, that might be good. This would definitely be good for my Nurgle. Oh my goodness. Yeah. My colour scheme's a bit meh. How do these two compare to one another? Very similar. Maybe I went a bit overboard. Maybe I should be using the rust grey rather than Fenris grey. I think they both used the same colour. Yeah, they both use the same colour. Or maybe this one used rust. Yeah, I should probably just use rust grey for it. I think the Fenrisian grey is a bit too bright. Okay. Oh, I just had an idea for how I want to paint my towel. Sky blue colour. Oh yeah, use Baharoth blue and skink blue. Oh, that would be so cool. Either way, these guys don't have to be perfect. They just have to be good enough. Oh gosh, what am I doing? Struggling to close this. There we go. So yeah. Well, thanks for coming to the stream today. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Remember to like the stream if you not like us. Remember that like button. It told you your mama was stupid. I was like, what? You can't call your mama stupid. She was really, really important in our Mechanicus campaign. She was so important in our first Rimworld campaign. Oh, I can't say you gotta punch it. You gotta punch that like button. Teach it a lesson. Oh. Yeah, thank you for coming to the stream today. Big love hearts to all of you. Remember to take care of yourself and be kind to others and vice versa. And oh my gosh. Is this baby as big as a towel? That baby's almost as big as an entire towel. That's one big baby. Well, yeah, thanks for coming to the stream. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Remember to work hard, but play harder. Eat good food. Take care of yourself. Be kind to others and vice versa. Wait, can I actually have you, like, raid into, like, my video that I put up? I need to check this. No, I can only have you raid into a stream. I can't do a video. Sad. But you know what? Actually, you know what? I think I just noticed someone else was streaming there. You know, people we know. Sims 4 wedding. Oh! Kasumi. Because we got raided. We got raided. We can share the raid, love. Yeah, my. She's playing for Sims 4. Yeah. Okay, we'll raid into. We'll raid into Kasumi Mai. Yeah. Here you go. Cupcake raid. It's been a while. I don't do raids very often because I often forget. Go and give Kasumi Mai some love. Go and give her some love. So bye-bye everyone. Love you all. Big love hearts. Bye-bye. We'll be painting more tomorrow. And don't forget, we got a video up.